Hello, everybody. My name is Jared Sarton. I'll be your dungeon master for Here Be Dragons. What you see and hear on screen is only a part of the fun that happens when we're yelling at each other. We're going live in 4 seconds. I love live shows. I love live shows.
To
You
be
get to
fair,
see
you were
behind the
the only
curtain.
one that was yelling.
For now.
Welcome to my life, Jared. That's literally when he wants me to stop talking. He's just, I'm turning on the TV.
No. In the home, I just shout, "We're going live in 4 seconds," and she's like, "Wait, what?" No. Well, we're live now. It's 4 p.m. Pacific time here in the West Coast. The weather on the West Coast will be sunny with a chance of nat ones. I hope.
No. Only for you.
Only for me. But because of nat ones and nat 20 talk here, we have Cadence, who is our hype boss, who is sitting just below me on screen. If you'd like to give a nat 20, if you want to turn the forecast around for one of the players, you can take over being the hype boss. Liking, following, subscribing, tipping, throwing bits and cheers, all of that gets you closer to being the hype boss. And when you take over, you get to say, Person X, whoever Person X may be, you get the nat 20. Some other things that are going on quick. We do have a handful of sponsors. We have Heimdall Dice, which is some wonderful metal dice. You can find them on Amazon and links below. We'll have links popping through chat as we go. We roll those guys. We also have Critical Treasures, a really, really awesome gifts and dice and various nerdery. She has expanded her selection from just dice bags to so many more things.
She does tray and
She
tray
does
cases.
Trays and tray cases and all sorts of like wonderful dungeon-y themed goodness. Beanies now.
She has cute beanies.
Well, she's got a lot of
Oh.
stuff. So take a look at her shop, Critical Treasures. If you see the shop and you go, "Oh, those advent calendars are amazing," we will be doing a giveaway of one of the advent calendars. So follow our social, look on Instagram. We will let you know the instant that we get that going on. And Scott Denuzzo just gifted a bunch of subs, it looks like. So Scott, you are
Nice.
the hype boss. Before we even get into the game, who gets that nat 20?
But also, really quick, if you see one of Kirsty's advent calendars and you're like, ooh, I like that, you should probably buy it because they sell out really fast.
Mad fast. Yeah, so we've got those guys. We've got this wonderful shop here, Caffeinated Kobold, keeping you nice and caffeinated here. There's a lot of different blends that they make, but it's a game-themed coffee. And then finally, we have Encounter Plus, a wonderful VTT tool on iOS and Mac. So, now that I've talked a little bit about those, we have a fun show coming up in 2 weeks. You get a bonus show. This is a 5-week month, so we are doing a Halloween spooky episode. You might get a teaser of what that could be at the end of this show. And we see you in 2 weeks. We'll be dressed up. Hopefully you're dressed up. Send photos on Discord of whatever your costume is this year. Make it scary or fun or whatever. Join our Discord, post those, and we'll give you all the thumbs up and emotes and stuff that Jared's working on right now. Yeah, I think that's all for me. Players
Trying to get the butt approved again.
we had a dragon butt
I made it
emote that we
4%
sent
less
through.
sexy.
4% less sexy. Twitch didn't
That
let
was
our
the-
dragon butt emote go through because it was too sexy. So if it goes through, you'll see that in chat. Hopefully this time, maybe next. Yeah, anything else, players? Before we dive in?
I just need clarification from Scott on who the pretty one is.
Oh man, there's a lot of pretty faces on screen.
Look at his beard.
Glenn.
I think it usually
Chris.
means Nathan,
Well, Nathan's
Nathan's
here.
not
but Nathan's
here.
not here.
So who takes Nathan's spot as the pretty one? Oh geez.
Well, I mean,
Scott's
I'm
starting drama.
That's a lot of pressure.
It's gonna be Sarah.
That's what Scott does. He flows in, causes drama, and then
It's gonna
vanishes into the
it's gonna be
night.
Glenn's
And
He
beautiful
just like
beard.
stirs the pot
Just
and
go into
then
the
like
cloud.
Well, we'll give it just a second, see who the beautiful one is. Chat, how are we doing tonight? Hopefully you're all good.
it's Eljor.
Eljor the beautiful one. There it is.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
now
gotta be
we
the
know.
beard.
That's what I
Gotta
was
be the beard.
thinking.
Now we know.
I just need to trim it up. Trim it up and clean this
Oh no,
bad
no,
boy
not
up.
if
Throw
you
some
want
beard
Scott to
oil
do
in
those
there.
hard. Let it grow. Let it like
Okay, okay.
Santa Claus out,
Alright.
man.
Eventually, I'll
Santa
braid
Claus
it like a God of
Just-
War.
Just for the
Do
show.
that thing where you can get it into like a bird cage around your head, like that one dude who won the beard competition.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Let's see how far we can get this. Chat, keep going with encouraging Glenn's beard, and hopefully we'll get something beautiful later in the year. All right, so to the story, as we know who the beautiful one is. Let's see. Those of you catching up, I'm going to do a little bit of spoilers. So for the next 2 minutes, if you don't want to have story spoiled, why are you here? But thank you anyways. The last few episodes, we had some drama happen. Our party was immediately arrested, and then they broke out of jail. After breaking out of jail, they got some friends who have a little hideaway underneath the inn. Lock, Stock, and Barrel's fortress that has a big map in the center. A heist is being planned. Electrum, their wonderful kobold, guide? Would he be a guide? I don't know. Quest giver? Yeah, he's the guy with the exclamation point in most video games. Exclamation point and the question mark. It just swaps back and forth. So he's the MMO NPC that you go to for more things. Electrum had given them a heist originally with a few wonky gadgets to go find something of great power within the king's royal gathering. So during the party, as all good heists are done, our group had sent a few people upstairs, stole some diamonds, a set of armor, a giant crystal with an eyeball embedded in it, normal things.
Wait, we did what?
Yeah, Corey, you were hanging out downstairs. You know very little of what has gone on upstairs.
Are we
Corey-
the bad guys?
Corey's just a party goer. Am I the drama? Well, this party is the drama. They stole some stuff. They got back to their inn and gathered up for the night. And as morning started to break, a bounty hunter bust into their room, trying to find what was stolen. With a little help from their new ghastly friend, the bounty hunter was pushed off for the time being, and Corrigan went to find someone he had met at the bar and hung out with at the party, only to see that her inn seems to have been attacked. Now, it's early in the morning, and Corrigan is out in the street seeing two bodies slumped in the road in front of the fancier inn in town. What Corrigan recalled is that they had seen two personal guards, or non-army, non-military guards, but people dressed up with weaponry and looking like they could do some bad things at any time, or good things at any time. Standing in front of this inn, so it's well guarded, and it's got all sorts of fancy travelers within, one would presume. But today, those guards are slumped on the ground. The city guard is looking around the area to understand what was going on, if it was attack, or if it was something else. Now, Corrigan is out in the road seeing this. The rest of the party is up in the room, still catching their breath after the bounty hunter had rustled them up a little bit this morning. Party, who wants to start? Are we starting with Corey? Are we starting in the inn? Are we going to another player that appears out of nowhere? No, I don't have that. Just kidding. I don't have surprise guests this week.
Let's start with
Wherever
the end.
you want to start. Yeah, start the end.
All right. So all of you have just gotten out of bed and are most likely a little bit on an adrenaline high, or however you would have reacted to someone barging in and a fight potentially happening. Now, Corey had flown out and said that they were going to go look for their elven friend. And you all stayed back to guard, or to at least protect some of the stuff that had been stolen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now what?
We did.
What happens? What happens? What are we doing in the inn?
You know,
I mean, I'm just chilling at this point, honestly.
it's still pretty early in the day, right?
Yeah, it's about breakfast
Yeah.
time. The sound of the
Alright.
street is fairly quiet. You do hear some carts passing by as the day is starting to open up for the rest of the town.
I think I was working on the map.
You were trying to
And-
draw your own map, correct?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I imagine I'd be working on that. Oh yeah, and I already marked my elixir, so you are aware, sir.
Yes, the party did go through a long rest, so if you guys haven't pushed that button, do so on your character sheet.
Perfect. I would like to go down and get some breakfast. And on my way out, I'd like to say, hey, does anybody else want anything to eat or drink?
I imagine I
No?
probably didn't hear. I was
No?
like really like I was like focused and working, so
Your kobold mind is focused on the map.
my little kobold alchemist mind.
All right. So I'm going to go down and get like some coffee and probably some biscuits. And I'll get a couple extra just in case.
All right. As you go downstairs, the front room of the inn is fairly quiet. There's one older man sitting back and reading a piece of parchment at one of the tables. He's got a strong-smelling tea brew that is sitting in front of him, steaming up alongside of him, and he's paying no mind to you, muttering and humming and kind of oohing and awing under his breath as he's reading something fascinating to himself, but it's only a couple pages that he's looking at. The barkeep pokes his head out from the kitchen. Oh, good morning. Anything I can get for you this morning?
Yes, some hot coffee and some biscuits would be wonderful.
Oh, yes. I've got a few things back here I can rustle up. Did you want me to bring them to your room, or are you going to enjoy them down here?
Well, you could just give them to me and I'll take them up to the room.
Perfect. It'll be just a moment.
I don't
He-
mind waiting.
He hustles back in before he catches the last of your sentence there, and he's clanking and thunking around in the kitchen. You hear a bit of chaos, but it sounds fairly controlled, and within a minute or two, he comes out with a tray full of a few baked goods, a couple cups of coffee, and then a small mug that is a very strong smelling tea, and he looks down and goes, "Oh, this is what he ordered. It's pretty good. It's a very strong herbal tea. If you wanted some, there was a lot extra this morning. So enjoy. It's on the house."
Thank you. Appreciate it. And then, does this come on like a tray that I can
Yeah, you got it.
easily carry?
It's a nice wooden tray with a couple of small plates that have the food and the drink on it.
I don't want to have to roll for balance or anything like that.
No, you're good.
Just kidding.
Unless I haven't thoroughly studied your character sheet. Unless you're like a -2 on your dex, then I think we're good.
Great. All right. Well, with that, I will head back to the room.
Now, as she heads back to the room, the rest of you, Eljor and Fizz, can smell this strong herbal tea before she even opens the door. It wafts in with a sweet but like pungent undertone, almost kind of beckoning her arrival. And Lily opens the door with the tray in hand.
Hey guys, I'm back. I brought some extra biscuits in case you wanted some.
Thank you, Johnny. I'm fine.
Fizz,
And then,
the smell would have at least caused you to pop out briefly based on my roll over here.
Okay, I'll come up and I'll be like, and I see. How far away from me is she?
She's probably about 8 feet, maybe,
Oh,
at most. It's not a huge room.
I imagine she was standing closer, where I was just gonna reach like up and be like, ooh, and then like grab some and then like disappear back down in to my bag.
So do you then reach a little claw out, like
Yeah.
a little
Because I
kobold,
pop out with my
I'll help
hand
you
like
out.
leading.
little kobold claw, just kind of grabbing towards the tray. Fizz at this point's got a little bit of charcoal all over her face and her claws as she's been drawing and like working down there. So it's a little bit of a mess that you see as she pops out of this spacious bag that she's been calling her workshop. Now, with food in hand,
Does
Fizz
she take the
retreats.
tea or does she take the coffee?
Oh, you take tea or coffee, Fizz?
I don't know. I just grabbed like whatever was there. Like I just saw and I grabbed a cup and like.
You actually get the very
Roll for it.
strong smelling tea.
I imagine that I was like, so I had like the coffee. I grabbed like the cup and I shoved a biscuit in my mouth and grabbed a second one and like just.
Oh, okay, so then you took one of both.
Yeah.
So she took a biscuit, put it in her mouth, took another biscuit, or
Yeah.
took two
So
drinks?
So I had a drink, and then I put a biscuit in my mouth and grabbed another biscuit and then just went back down.
All right, 2 biscuits, and the pungent tea goes sinking back into the bag with Fizz. And as the tea goes inside, there's a little bit of like a steam puff that comes out of the bag, because as you recall, the bag was constantly like blowing a little bit of air
Mhm.
out. And so it's essentially emitting this pungent steam out the top
Mhm.
as Fizz retreats back into her little workshop of the bag.
Nice. All right, I would like to take my coffee and biscuit, basically what's left.
Yeah,
and
there's 2 more
go-
biscuits on the tray, and there's 2 cups of coffee.
I'll go sit. Oh right, Corrigan's gone. That's why I got 4. Got it. I was like, what? Oh, math. Is there a window in the room? I assume
there's-
there is.
There's a little nook that you can sit on
We had a
that
view.
that shows much of the town center. So it's a little bay window. It's a great little reading nook. The sun is shining in there just a little bit as it's breaking through the morning cloud. And you get a wonderful view of most of the city center. You can even see all the way over towards the building, the hall that had the party the night before. It's a few hundred feet across the way, but it's within range. You see a couple carts out front getting set up for some sales. One's got a few books on it, and one's got a few little trinkets, odds and ends. There's stuff coming out of all corners of shops as the Festival of Lights is going on, so everyone's getting prepared for yet another day of festivities and fun.
Are there any guards patrolling the area?
Yeah, you actually see a couple guards walking through the city center, just kind of watching as people are setting up shops and setting up their carts. There is a couple guards hustling off towards, as you look out, off towards your left. So off around the inn itself, and that is kind of where you saw the ferry leave to.
Does that raise any alarm with me?
They're not running at full pace. They are hustling a little bit faster than just like a morning stroll. So it'd be up to you to take that as an alarm or not. It doesn't look out of place per se. Like they're not hauling to get somewhere, but they are moving with intention.
Okay. I'm just gonna keep an eye out in case any more guards go that way.
Okay.
Or if I notice a commotion in that direction, but otherwise I'll just relax and drink my coffee and try to be on the lookout for anything out of the ordinary.
All right. Eljor, anything that you wish to do here?
Part of my morning routine is like ruminating about the previous day's events it's very elvish to think about the previous day and think about how you could have improved on your actions. And so I probably would be sitting with my new friend's sword, and actually, since I recognize that when I'm not holding it, it floats, I would just let it sit on the ground in front of me until it floats, and then just like wait with it until everybody's ready to kind of move forward with the day. Yeah, while she finishes her coffee and biscuits.
Yeah, as you're spending that time thinking over the past day and sitting with the sword, you notice the more that you become in tune with the sword, the less it seems to want to float away, but it floats somewhat within like a wonderful arm's reach for you to grab at a moment's notice.
Okay.
In a spot where, as you've kind of reached out to see its presence, as it kind of slows its hover and becomes nearly invisible at points. You notice that is almost perfect for like a proper swing that you could do damage with at a blink of an eye. So the sword is definitely reacting in a very positive way to you at this point.
Awesome. Trying to hold on and kind of hone in on that connection for sure. Absolutely.
All right. So as you're doing that, we'll go over to Corey. Corey, you had flown out to visit your elven royalty that you'd met the day prior. You saw that she'd gone into an inn up the road that looked a bit fancier, a bit higher end from where you were staying. You noticed the guards yesterday were out in front. They are out in front still, slumped on the ground, with city guards around. What is it that you wish to do?
Slumped on the ground like they fell asleep on their post and passed out, or like they've been run through with a blade.
From about 30 feet out, 40 feet out-ish, as you round the corner and see this, you can't quite tell. But there are city guard coming around the area, and one city guard standing near them, as if to see what's happening with the two bodies on the ground. Most likely, to your assumption, you would consider that it was more foul play than sleep.
Okay, I'll and these are the personal guards, yes?
Yeah, the two that are on the ground are wearing a dark metal armor with some dark purple robing on them. So it's not a black metal, but it's a very darkened steel. Nothing like the city guard colors, and actually in far better condition than the city guard's armor.
Okay, I'll just kind of hang out and keep my ears open and eyes open and gather as much information as I can from this scenario.
Yeah, can you roll me 2 perceptions?
I can do that. 2 perceptions. What am I adding here? There it is. Adding 4 to these. Well, one of them is an 8, and the other one is an 18.
All right. And what is
Still
what is your passive?
My passive is 14.
Okay, so it's a 14 and an 18 here. As you're kind of floating around and trying to not look like you're part of the scene or trying to gather info, you hear a couple guards walk past. One of them muttering to the other, I think that I heard there were a few survivors in there, but there's a couple murdered upstairs. And the other guard kind of mumbles back something you hear along the lines of, yeah, but I hear a few people made it safer. Weren't there? It's all bizarre. Seems like a weird hit this time of year. And these 2 guards are just kind of talking a little too loud as they bypass you and a few other people standing around. There's a couple people from the town starting to gather in the area, and you hear an older man speaking to a few small kids, saying something along the lines of, all right, kids, we're gonna have to find another way to get around this, because it seems like something bad happened up there, and we don't need to see this morning. But I think there's a few safe people up there, so wave to the guards up there, thank them, and we'll go around the other side. And he kind of hustles the kids as it looks like they're going off to maybe a school or a class for the morning. But that's about all that you were able to pick up as you hover in the area for a few minutes' time.
No one's coming out of the inn or anything.
As,
No patrons.
You don't see any patrons coming out of the inn, but you do see a couple guard going in and out. And after a few minutes, you do see a figure in the doorway speaking with the guard, but you only see like a hand gesture here and there. You don't get to see the full figure. The figure seems to be wearing a dark purple cloth that's very similar to the personal guard. It's a very long sleeve, and you believe that the hands might be of like a human male or potentially a taller dwarven male. They're very gruff. They kind of don't go along with the garb they're wearing.
Does he look familiar? Like one of the people that was with
The
lady?
most that you can see is an arm or two in the gestures as they're standing
Okay.
kind of in the doorway a little bit, so you can't quite tell. There's no noticeable tattoos or rings or gear that would allow you to equate that. And you haven't seen this robing in town the last couple days. It seems different.
Okay. I will head back to the inn.
Okay.
With that information. Back to the group. What time is my lunch?
What time is your lunch?
Yeah, I got a letter from the king.
Yeah,
Say, let's get some lunch.
that will be around lunchtime, so probably 3 to 5 hours from now.
Okay.
Look at the camera. Stop.
Oh no, do we have a dog boop?
Yeah,
You're trying to
we
get a
do.
dog boop?
Yeah, but
being-
she's like really fighting it.
There it is, dog boop.
She's mad.
We got
Fight.
an angry dog
Fight.
boop. So yeah, in a couple hours you will you'll be able to attend this luncheon with the king. It doesn't seem like there's much direction on there.
My bad. That was not for her.
Oh.
That was for you.
The DM boop. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
I just read the boop.
Well, we got a free dog boop in there. Thanks for redeeming your channel points. Your TikTok bucks.
I wonder if we could change that to like hard DM boop.
Punch the DM.
Basically, Lindsay just has to punch you in the face.
No, she's too excited with this. I'm gonna. Oh man. So, for those of you who are tuning in on audio only, whether or not that's the podcast or you don't watch the stream, we do have some Twitch points to get redeemed. I'm gonna have a black eye, and you might want to tune in. Just kidding. We're not having violence here, but you know, man. DM boots. So, as you flutter into the inn, you do see the older man that I described earlier, still sipping a little bit of this pungent tea, which kind of hits you in the face, the smell of it, as you flutter into the inn. And we have...
What did Cade do?
Uh-oh, what did Cade do? Oh, man. A $5 tip. Pluck the fairy's wings.
I saw the hype boss get attacked, and I was like, uh-oh, that's Cade.
Yep, so...
It says pluck the fairy's wings.
Wow.
As you flutter in, there is a smell that hits you, and it's this pungent tea that the old man is drinking. He still pays attention to the parchment that he's reading and kind of mutters under his breath. And as you fly to the stairs and are about to go up, just before you go up the stairs, a sprout comes out from the stairs, and as it comes out, a few berries pop up. They're very similar in nature to a good berry, but they're of dark toned colors. There's a dark purple, there's a dark red, and then there's a very dark greenish color. And they sparkle and shine with a very magical nature.
Well, the Fae are not known for their tricksiness or anything, so I'm clearly just gonna pick these berries and take them along with me.
All right, so you pick 3 berries. They're by the time they have fully grown quickly in front of you, they're about the size of a golf ball, so a couple inches wide. They're not just like a tiny blueberry. So you're probably grabbing them much like you'd grab a cantaloupe or a watermelon, given your size. So you're able to carry 2 easily, and then 1 you can kind of tuck into your pack or into your satchel a little bit. And as you enter the room, let's see, it's Lily and Eldro who are out as Fizz is still in her bag working. You're able to kind of flutter in with these berries under your arms. Silent.
So, I've got some information. Basically, my elven friends may be dead. Surprisingly. It looks like maybe everyone that was staying at the other inn has been murdered.
Oh no.
There's quite a
That's
to-do
not
over
good
there
at
right
all.
now. I didn't want to get too close. But I found these on the stairs. You can eat them if you want. And I hold up the
Sarah,
berries.
I think
We
we
can't
can't hear
hear
your
you.
microphone.
I texted her and she hasn't.
Sorry. I just
So-
got
When
it.
I do this, it means we can't hear you.
It's all right. It's all right.
Sarah's that person in her Zoom meetings.
Four,
yeah.
4 slides
yeah.
in. Everyone's too kind to say I can't hear you.
They're all saying it's better this way.
Ooh, ouch. Now that you can speak and we can hear you, Corey has offered the berries
Can hear her.
that they've brought in.
I don't know that we should eat those.
He just
Did I smell them?
a friend brought us some berries. I don't think that's a problem.
I mean,
He
I
found
could examine
them
them.
on the floor.
Did I
And
smell
the
them?
berries and
Smell
cream.
them?
Get some nice cream. I'm a
Berries
little
and
lad who loves
cream.
berries and cream.
Oh man, Lindsay's over here
Okay,
dancing to
you
that.
guys,
I'm glad somebody
you
else.
guys
is.
could go ahead. I'm good. I don't need any.
I don't see a problem with that. Which one do
Would
you
I
wanna-
want?
do they have odor? Would I
I want
have
to sniff the
something?
berry.
Probably.
So I
Yeah.
pop out and I go, would I recognize them? I assume that I would.
No, these berries are interesting. They're very magical in nature, but they look much like a blueberry in quality, but they're dark tones. A very, very dark blue, very,
But
very
they're
dark
good
purple,
berries,
very
right?
dark green.
But I assume being an alchemist.
They look like a good berry, but good berries tend to be a brighter, like full red.
Can I roll an insight then?
You can roll an insight and investigation, probably is better. You could roll on
Okay.
anything that's dealing with magic arcana.
Okay, investigation give me a 24.
24.
What about nature?
Nature would work too. So if you're looking at them, anyone else want to roll on what they're investigating, or
To
are
be
you
clear,
I'm
just
just gonna eat
It's
whichever
like
one they handle me.
My little bag is sitting on the floor
uh-huh.
and I'm sticking out, so it's like this tiny little bag, and then like my normal like top half of my kobold body is out like looking at them.
The bag would look like the size of a pair of shorts to you, but you're currently legless with
Yeah.
that. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny there. So you're investigating. Eldro is just going to eat whatever Corey hands to them, and then Lily is
I gotta-
sitting back.
Yeah.
I got a net 20 on nature check.
Nat 20 on nature check. We have a 24 on investigation. On the nature check, Corey, you understand these to be a bit unnatural. They shouldn't have sprouted, especially within an inn. But even more so, the size and shape, they're almost perfectly symmetrical, and it seems to be very, very not standard growth in nature, because most things aren't symmetrical like that. Their deep color is similar, like a blackberry, but in different shades, so it's not too out of the ordinary to see the coloring. But but the shape specifically sticks out to you as unnatural. As Fizz investigates and looks at them, I would assume she's got like a little monocle or something that she was using to draw with. She'll lean in and peek at them, and when she does, she notices that the berries themselves seem to be very full of a fibrous material, much like a normal berry would be, but in very symmetrical lines. So being able to see through the skin a little bit, it looks unnatural, but almost like handmade or created by a tinkerer, someone with very much precision in their craft. So Viz notices that these seem more crafted than grown.
Interesting.
Which color should I eat?
I don't know. Let's eat them together.
I'm good.
How many are there?
There's 3.
I'm gonna take one though, so that they don't eat it, because I'm like curious.
Okay. So there's a very dark purple, a very dark bluish, and a very dark green.
I imagine the dark green is the most unnatural looking. So
Probably.
I would take that.
So you grab that one. And then do I need to roll on who goes where, or
I'm gonna go face first into purple. Just
you're gonna go
blorp.
face first into purple
Blue.
and blue? All right. As you bite into these berries, there's a very, very sweet flavor to them, and it's way too sweet for most things, and it lacks a tonality to it. It tastes like biting into almost a sugar cube. And as you do, there's a trickling sensation of like electricity rippling down your back, but not in a way that it's damaging. You just feel like a little static electricity ripple down your spine. And once it hits like your heels, it disperses to your toe tips, and then you feel it kind of zap into your fingertips. There's no visuals to any of this, but it just feels almost as if one would have stuck their finger in a wall socket briefly, unintentionally, and got a zap through. And nothing else happens at this point. Just a weird sensation as you bite into the berries.
Both of them had that?
Yes, both of them did.
Do I
They
see?
Really weird.
sorry, go ahead.
Right?
I imagine this is exactly what it looks like. You both are like trying to say something and have a little unsureness of what just happened or what to say.
Is the berry consumed at this point?
I mean, if you keep diving into it,
Oh yeah, I'm gonna
yes,
finish it.
You're gonna
I
finish
didn't get
it.
no muffin.
You get a couple smaller trickles of zapping down the spine and into like your extremities, but nothing painful to the point of like you must stop. Just kind of like static electricity as you continue to eat the fruit. It only happens a couple times as you finish the fruit.
I'm like watching them to see if they like show anything.
I'm just
Why
gonna
are
finish
you
it and
eyeing
look
us
around.
so intensely?
What?
Why are you looking at us? We're just eating berries.
Well, these are
Weird sugar
very
cube berries.
well. They're very man-made berries, so I'm just trying to see. I want to
They're inside a
understand.
man-made bag.
Did-
Man-made.
Sitting
They
inside of a
grow on the
man-made
stairs.
building. Man-made coffee. A lot of man-made things.
Found these berries on the stairs.
I
coming
don't
up.
have an issue with man-made things. That's not what it. I'm trying to see, like, what's going on here.
Corey,
What the
Can I, like,
effects of these berries
out?
are.
And see if that static electricity will like extend past me to her,
yeah, you may.
like by touching her.
You may
I'm just gonna touch you.
just boop the kobold.
Yeah.
Corey had said something in that back and forth that I think you both missed.
Mhm.
Whoops.
Yes. They were growing on the stairs, and I got them.
They grow.
I'm sure they'll be
Yeah, yeah.
fine.
Magic comes in all sizes. Mine's gone. Mine's delicious. Are you going to finish yours?
Did anything happen when he touched me?
I think
No, just booped you.
I'm done. There's about half of mine left.
All right.
Set it
Oh,
on the table.
I eat it.
Can't be going to waste. I'm gonna look at Lily like, you want the rest of this one, Lily?
I'm good.
Oh.
Thanks.
More?
Fizz said
More
she
for
was
me.
going to reach for it.
No, I
okay.
have the green one.
Oh, you have the green one? You're going to eat the green one?
I like am thinking about it. Like I lifted it. Like I'm thinking about it. Like I'm just so curious.
And Corey is going to eat the other half of Eljor's. So you see
Oh my
Corey
God.
diving into the other half. At this point, that'll be more than enough breakfast for Corey, but
Do
still a
I
sweet
get the
treat.
sense that so I saw that these were like not normal. Do I get the
Mhm.
sense that they go bad quickly?
You don't get any knowledge one way or the other, mostly because you've only seen them for a brief moment.
Well, I have it in my hand, but I'm just gonna like kind of hope that everyone forgets I have it. Like tuck it down.
So you put it down into the bag with the eye and the glass, and Corey finishes the other piece. You get the same sensation. This time it feels like it ripples the opposite direction of the way you felt it before. So it just feels a little bit backwards, but it's very much the same sensation of static electricity rippling through you.
Okay.
Lily's over there just sipping her coffee, watching you guys eat unnatural berries.
I mean, as far as I can tell,
I
it's
hope
just
nothing happens.
it's just your standard stairberry.
It's a star fruit.
Your standard stare berry star fruit. Man. Now, as you're all sitting there kind of eyeing each other, and Fizz does her unsure look between the two who had consumed the berries, you hear stink, and you hear that there's a item that has come up in the pneumatic tube by the bed.
I'd like to check that out. You guys are staring at each other.
As they're having the standoff, Lily, you're able to open the pneumatic tube, and there's a coin wrapped with a small piece of paper. You recognize the coin as a piece of electrum, and the piece of paper just has a little note that says, "Meet me outside. I have something for you."
Cash me outside.
Do I recognize the handwriting?
You recognize the handwriting as the messy scrawling that you'd seen previously wrapped around a coin.
Okay.
And potentially on some of the notes that have already come through the pneumatic tube.
Okay. So, I'll tell the team what I saw, what I read, and I'm gonna head outside. Anybody
What's-
coming with me?
Watch out, there's murderers about.
I'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll come with.
Eljor and Lily go
When I
out.
say that, I like tap my bow. I'll be fine.
I'll be fine. Just tap the big wooden bow that is on your back.
Yeah.
Is are you hanging with?
Yeah, no, I'm climbing out and I'm like, all right. And I'm like closing up my bag and did I see her tap her bow and say that?
Most likely.
I kind of just go, all right. That was weird.
Let's do it.
As you all exit the inn, the old man that was sitting at the table is no longer there. His empty mug is, and the parchment that he was reading is laying there, and it seems to be almost a bit of town news that had been scrawled out and distributed. It's got the date of 2 days ago, so it's a little bit old. The big front article talks about the Festival of Lights and all of the fun that will be happening. It talks about the upcoming King's Gala, which was prior night. And then it's got a list of a few events, seemingly one this evening that is going to be the Skylights, which is a festival that the bards bring in music and shoot off magical explosions in the sky in various designs and patterns for a whole hour.
I think we should go watch that show. I've never seen anything like that before.
Yeah, I think we
There's-
should too.
People are getting murdered. Like a whole inn of people.
Like a whole inn
Oh,
of
no.
people.
I don't know if that's
They were at
much
the
out
party
for them.
last night. We were at the party last night and we were accosted. I don't think we should be going seeing anything in the public. I don't want to
But
die.
if we're out and about, we can help. If we stay here, we
I'm
won't
gonna-
know what's going on.
I'm gonna ask the king for rooms tonight. Feel safer.
That's
That'll help us in creating the
Perfectly
map of
fine.
the castle.
yeah.
True.
Oh, which I started redrawing, by the way, and I like.
Nice.
Not very good. It's better than the other one.
It is
That's
immaculately drawn, as Fizz has spent many, many hours over drawing tables. So her not very good is actually quite precise from what she can recall.
This is really great. Thank you. I think this will come in handy. Corgan, when did you say you were meeting with the king?
It's for lunchtime.
Okay.
So we've
Good to
got some
know.
hours. We've got some hours.
A couple of them, yes.
And that's if he's
Did
even.
you Sorry, Corey. Did you say you saw the bodies, or you just heard rumors?
I
Is there a
saw the guards. I saw the personal guards of the lady that got me in last night outside of the tavern, and I heard a couple guards with you know how guards talk.
yeah?
Yeah, apparently very few people made it out. That's all I could
Was
get. I
your-
didn't want to get too close.
Elven friend there. Did she die?
That's to be determined, I guess. I don't know who would.
And you
Kill an emissary
are an
without-
esteemed friend of her, right? Should we not, on her behest
What-
and at her?
I didn't want to show up right away. I wanted things to play out a little bit,
All right.
in case it had to do with the
Check out.
fellow who visited us last night.
Ah.
I was going to inquire later this evening.
I think that's a good idea.
Hmm.
What are we doing?
You guys are at the door of the inn briefly, had stopped, looked at the paper, and there's a little discussion going on about.
No, I know. That's what I'm
Okay.
asking.
Oh,
Sorry, I
You're
don't
in
have a
Fizz.
character voice.
you're in
Oh.
Fizz right now. Okay.
Sorry.
Fizz shouts out, so what are we doing?
Yeah, Lily, what are we doing? You know, it
Can't
sounds
go
weird
to
when I
the
call you
inn?
Lily.
I
I
mean,
think I gotta call you Lily Aris.
either one is fine. I think if we could go with you to go see the king, I think that would be really nice. Do you think he would let us all come with you?
I mean, I have no complaints against it. But
We could try.
You are a diplomat, an emissary, so you should have a retinue, yes?
he like looks at the state of everyone. This is like, I mean, your
I
words
don't
make
have
sense.
charcoal on my face from eating my biscuits with my charcoal cover hands. Don't mind me.
It's like, well, to be honest, if the robbery does trace back to you, it's not traced to me currently. So if we can maintain at least partial separations, that could be beneficial.
I was never seen.
Okay.
I mean,
But I can see if, because it does make sense. I'd need some protection. And
we're on your side. You know, it's not like. And what is he gonna do? Just say, no, you can't come inside. Worst case scenario.
Well, I mean, and of course we can always say, you know, you met us here, you needed to hire some guards, being the disturbingly dangerous state of things, so you met us.
maybe
and
I
hired
can
us
get you guys
today.
jobs in the palace.
I can make sure all
Yeah.
the vaulty things like that pillar is secure. I'm like
Yeah.
doing this weird side look with a smile.
Because you're a famous locksmith, yes?
This works. I mean, yes,
Yeah.
we'll see. Maybe they say yes, maybe they say no. But we could check. For sure. It does make sense. Why did we come outside right now, though?
There's the letter.
Yeah. We gotta go meet our friend.
Oh. I hope he has those delicious starberries.
You want more of them?
Not right now, but
Wait,
they're
did you
good.
finish? Did you finish the one you had?
Yeah, and half of the other.
You got quite the appetite.
They
I'll give you
remind.
that.
What can I say? What can I say? I'm little.
Your stomach is not.
They remind me of my mama's cooking.
And I look at him and I go, it must be bigger on the inside.
All right.
I'll
So we're
never
going outside,
tell.
right?
Did the letter say we're supposed to meet him anywhere, or was it just like go outside?
It did not. It just
Garrett?
said, to meet me, I have something for you.
Maybe we go back to where we met him the first time?
There's a small
down the way.
alleyway behind the inn that leads to essentially the basement, the underside of the inn. That's where you had gone in and out of previously.
Okay, yeah. I think that's a good place to meet him.
There's two ways to get there. One is a bit of a walk to the right, probably about 150 feet down and around the side of the inn, by a few shops where you had shopped for new clothing, and then back around to the alleyway. The other way is to the left as you walk out of the inn. It's a bit shorter of a walk, but it brings you past the inn that had the kerfuffle or the murders or whatever that Corrigan had seen.
Oh, and
I hope
remember,
you're not
with our
scared.
friend, we're not supposed to know about the map situation yet.
Well,
Oh,
not.
okay.
Exactly.
So, which way do you wish to go?
I think we'd go by the murder inn just so I could be like, that's where the murders happened. I became Londoner for a second.
As you head down that path, there's a few more guards. It seems like there's a couple guards standing out front. The two bodies that Corey had seen previously are already loaded onto a cart and starting to roll away. There's a sheet covering them, but you do notice that it's a fairly open cart, and you see a couple outlines of bodies under a sheet on it. There's about 5 or 6 town guards standing near the front door of this inn, and they're looking around and keeping an eye on every person and creature that moves past.
Makes sense. Yeah, I don't want to approach it. I just want to let people know, let the party know that's where it is.
Right. As you make your way around the backside, and that doorway is pointed out, and the guards are keeping an eye on you briefly. Out of the alleyway, you see a small hooded figure with the silvery golden feet underneath of the kobold Electrum, kind of walking towards you, and he's got a rope that he's pulling. Behind him, a small cart, one that you see like the street sellers use. So a flat top with a few doors on it, coming your way behind. And he's pulling, and it's the rope that he's pulling is actually kind of slack, so it doesn't seem like he's applying force to this cart. And the cart is wobbling back and forth and not like rolling flat as it gets to you. And as you meet partway between where he had come out and the corner that you had turned to see him, you hear a faint clink, 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 clink as he walks up.
Ah, it's good that you're all here today because I've got a special mission for you. It's nothing too hard. It's, getting into the castle, stealing some rope, but I'm sure you're up to it, huh?
Sure.
What-
Yeah.
What are your little? I call him little, even though I'm smaller than he is. What are your little words on the street to tell you about what happened at that tavern over there?
Well, if you must know,
He looks around. He kind of leans into the middle of the party.
I hear that there was shadows roaming, and there was death that followed these shadows. It's probably some nefarious creature or being searching for, well, the looking glass.
The looking glass?
He gives a big wink and nudges the other kobold Fizz in the midst and just kind of like nudges her like she should know the slang of the looking glass.
And I remember I still had the one on my eye. And I was like, oh wait. And I looked down and I'm like, mine are there. I'm so confused.
No, not that one. Let's just say a giant eyeball in a bit of stone. Precious stone.
Wait, they were
I mean-
looking for the wait, I'm confused. The shadows came from the stone?
Well, there were about 5 or 6 more murders up in that front hall that Party was at.
Yeah, that's what we heard.
Oh, no. This inn had 2 murders in it as well.
Did the stone make shadows that killed people? I'm so confused.
If the stone made the shadows that killed people, then wouldn't they know where the stone is? These shadows were looking specifically for
For-
that stone, I think.
Oh, they gonna kill me.
Oh.
It murdered the
Why?
guards at the hall that were standing right by that table. At least that's what Stock had told me this morning. Beryl, on the other hand, said, well, there were some shadows moving in the night when he was out getting parts.
If it was night, how would you see the shadow?
I believe he's using the term shadow as an assassin, rather than the actual creature shadow.
That
'Cause I
makes
don't
more
want to-
sense. I was very
I don't want to
confused.
fight the shadow. You're on your own, little guy. If it's an actual shadow, I'm out.
I wasn't sure how a shadow actually killed a person. And then I was starting to become suspicious of my shadow, but
You're just looking down
Don't
at your
be
shadow.
suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
This episode brought to you by TikTok and Instagram, where all of your memes can be found, and we reference them all the time. That's weird. All right, let's keep going.
P.S. You just heard that one for the first time the other day.
Go on, social. All right, so you're standing there, and Electrum is looking around. The cart that he had rolled up next to you kind of tilts back and forth as if it's like sitting on something in the middle, kind of wobbling and balancing funny.
Can I ask what's on your cart?
Oh, this is for you. And he hands the rope to Lily. And he knocks on the cart. See, it's a hollow cart. It's nothing that is out of the ordinary, except these wheels. And he walks up and he grabs one of the wheels. They don't spin, so we've improvised. And he leans and looks under, and you hear, and he's pointing underneath the cart and pulls his head up. You see?
No.
What?
Do you got more rope? I need some.
All right. Fizzlepop it is. You're getting rope. That's your next thing to do. Lily, your cart is actually a mechanical creature that well, we've found parts to. A lock, stock, and barrel have put together, but it's a bit wobbly. And you see the cart just kind of like teeter back and forth a little bit, and you hear ting 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 ting, as if like something underneath is balancing the cart. He looks around.
Does it have a name?
No, we didn't name the cart, but the creature underneath we call Leggy Thing. And as you kind of peek underneath, it looks like a very, very poorly made mechanical like spider legs, kind of teetering back and forth. And he kind of looks across the party. Don't worry. It's under the command of whoever pulls the cart around. But if you remove it from the cart, it's got a couple hooks that you can put stuff on, and it's very resourceful. It can climb walls and whatnot. I mean, certain walls. If it's too slick, it won't go up them. But we've had some fun with it. It carries like 1,000 pounds or something. So if you need to carry a boulder, you can.
Well, we can definitely put it to good use.
Yeah. Here's this, and he hands a very small polished black stone to you, Lily. And he like firmly places it in your hand and like wraps your fingers on it. If you drop this, the mecha leg thing will go after it, and it will stop on it. Now, you can use it like if you want it to go somewhere, you could throw it, and it'll go there. If you want it to come back, it'll scoop it up and bring the stone back to you, as long as you like clap. So 2 claps, and it'll come back to you, kind of like a dog, but it doesn't drool and it doesn't poop everywhere. So if you want to deal with that, then there you go. This may help you because you might need to carry some things.
Does it require anything for maintenance?
We've fed it a few powerful gems, so it should be good for some time.
Okay, great. I'm happy with that. All right, legs, let's go.
And as he steps back, oh yes, the rope that you need to get. It's not just any rope. It's a magical one. And last it was seen was in a lockbox with a few other items that went into the castle. This rope, let's just say you can climb up it or down it without needing it to be attached to anything. It could probably hold a few 100 pounds. All of you could be on it, I think. And he eyes Eldra up and down a little bit and kind of thinks for a second. Yeah. I think your weight could fit on that with the rest of them. You should be fine. I hope. But it's a beautiful rope for getting in and out of places that you shouldn't be in. More specifically, if you ever need to get into the middle of the castle to stop some nefarious things happening in there, the whole goal of why I'm asking for your services. But if you need to get into some place to steal some stuff, I'd be down for it.
Okay.
He backs away and kind of grins at the group. Oh, keep whatever you find. It's just the king stuff anyways. He's a bad dude. They say he murdered his brother, the previous king. But whatever.
The current king, you're saying?
Yeah, the current king. He's like 7th in line for the throne, but, well, has the throne.
Well, Who was killed in our inn last night?
And you're in.
No one was killed in our inn.
Didn't he say 2 people were killed in our inn?
No,
Yeah,
he had pointed. He'd
No.
pointed over his shoulder. There were two people killed in the fancy inn, and 5
Yeah.
people killed at the hall where you'd stolen the items from.
Oh well, who were the people killed at the fancy inn?
Oh, I think there was a man. He traveled with an elven royalty. I think he was one. And then some other guard or somebody. But you know, I'm not sure who they are specifically. Let's just say Locke had one too many drinks last night and partied a little bit with all the party goers, so he didn't get all of the details we needed.
Ah. Well, that's not super helpful.
But the elven woman is okay.
From what I know, she actually left in the middle of the night and sought refuge in the castle, which is odd. Because from what I understand, these murders happened 2 hours prior to dawn. Not that long ago.
That sounds about right. I'll have to inquire at the palace about her.
Did he say we had to find the rope, or
Yeah, where's the rope?
did he
Is it
tell us
fancy
where that
rope?
is?
Oh, I said it was in a metal casing, a large metal crate. Took 4-5 guards to carry that in. It had some other magical trinkets in it, but it was stolen from necromancers. Ugh. There was a handful of them that haunted the edges of town a
But
year or
it's-
2 ago, and the guards got rid of them because they were murdering people on the outskirts. And well, they stole some of the guards stole some or claimed some of their things. A few magical items. I don't know what else was in there, but I'd be keen to, test it out. Try it.
But where's the metal crate?
Oh, it went into the castle. I think when the goblins they had done their scouting a couple weeks back, they'd seen some doorway up on a wall.
So you're telling us to go into the castle to get the magic rope that'll take us into the middle of the castle?
No, you're telling yourself that.
No,
And
you
he steps back and kind of looks around, like trying not to be prescribing danger to the group.
I just need some rope. I mean, that one sounds cool, and I'll get it if I
Wait,
can.
you just need plain old regular rope,
Sort of, yeah.
braided strands of fiber.
Well, I need that for stuff. Why is that so weird? I was just asking.
Okay. Hold here, and I'll be right back with your rope. And he hustles down the alleyway.
Jeez, everything's got to be so complicated with this one.
What do you need a rope for?
No, you're nosy.
All right, Rambo.
What?
All right, Rambo.
I don't know what that means.
You'll have to watch Boondock Saints once. It's good.
Yeah, Boondock Saints. Yeah, it's a reference to Boondock Saints. I didn't say the rest of it because there is
Oh, yeah.
copious uses of many, many, many cuss words.
We can take our mild PG-13 rating up to R immediately.
Just all the way up.
Go hard R.
NC-17. What if he wants R?
Too many words.
Make like a tree.
Split?
No.
Yeah.
No.
That's it.
It's a good movie. You'll have to watch it. Now you guys are standing there for a few moments as Electrum had hustled off. Anything you wish to do or talk about before he starts bringing you things?
No.
So he just gave you this cart. And now, what are
I think to
we?
help get the
Why are
rope,
we getting a magic cart inside the castle?
you can climb
That's
up
what
the
I'm
wall, right?
saying. This is like ridiculous.
But it can climb up the wall.
Some walls. You said not all of them.
I assume
couple-
castle walls should be fine.
A couple moments
so I feel
later.
like
Oh, go for it. Corey.
I just feel like there's no need for a magic rope. Rope's like a pretty common thing.
Well, I wasn't asking for magic rope. I just asked for rope.
No, but they are. I don't know why.
Wait. I think it could probably get you places that you normally couldn't.
Like,
No. As you're having this discussion, you hear, and you see two sets of goblin feet like wobbling back and forth with a pile of things walking your way. In the pile, you see a bunch of rope on top, a few cloths, and then a few small boxes at the bottom where the little hands are holding. And they get up to you and drop all of the stuff right in front of you. So this is the rope up here for you, for you. And he points to Fizz. Fizz. And it's Stock, who you had encountered a few times in town. And he picks up the rope and kind of rolls it to you.
It's just a regular rope. It's not going to do nothing weird.
No, this is plain old rope. It's one of my favorite ropes. I've used it on a few outings. I've never actually tied it to anything. So
What happens if this rope doesn't fully remain intact? Is that like?
I don't care.
Okay.
You can
Well,
have
it was
it.
your
You can
favorite.
have it.
You
Well-
made a point to say it was your favorite.
Well, I
rope.
have other favorite ropes in there. They're all my friends. I've made all of these. It's just a hobby.
And the other goblin is little Barrel, and he looks around.
Yeah, he makes all of his ropes, and then it's quite annoying because when one breaks, he cries about it.
So it's not okay if I break.
No, he's giving you this one. It's no longer his rope.
Okay. How much rope is it?
It's 60-ish feet. So
Thank you.
when it comes time, if you need, you just ask, and we'll figure out if it's short.
As this is for later, but you should know that it's gonna happen.
Uh-oh.
Anytime we're passing down the street and like past a general cart vendor or, or a general store or or like a chandlery or whatever,
Okay.
I want to go out of my way to stop and ask if Fitz needs rope. Like even if there's like 13 in a row on that street.
If it what rope?
If they need rope.
If they need
if
rope.
Fitz needs any rope,
Oh.
Oh, if I
like
need
any
rope.
opportunity.
Okay. As the rope comes off, you notice that underneath there's a pile of like tablecloths and fine linens, a couple small stains on them.
Oh, so these are some things we've taken I've borrowed off of carts and tabletops and things. If you need to disguise that cart as something to sell stuff on.
And he shoves little Barrel shoves the cloth off. There's a few boxes of really like rusty metal trinkets. There's a few shiny ones within, but most of the things look like very secondhand, not used much. And he slides a box forward.
And here's some wonderful paperweights from the area that you can sell. They're in shapes of, I don't know what that is. Oh, what is? They're in shapes. So if you need to disguise your cart, you can put the paperweights on the cloth, and you can be I don't know. I was told you have to get in the castle. Good luck.
How many times have you guys tried to employ people for this? Let's call it a project.
They lean together and whisper a few moments.
None.
None.
Nope.
You.
Yeah. So we we didn't know about this nefarious deed until a few weeks ago. Electrum told us about it, and it's kind of scary. There's people looking for that looking glass, and they're murdering for it. But it seems that the king might be doing something strange in the castle, and we need to make sure to prevent that, because
So you want us to get into the castle discreetly. So your idea is to weigh us down with a cart and paperweights and tablecloths and...
did you see that vendor over there? He's got some really shiny baubles. And the two goblins kind of back up just a little bit. And Beryl goes, it's Electrum's plan. We just help him out. We do the tinkering and the exploding.
I just don't feel like we're being set up for success.
Do you need explosives?
Never mind.
Okay. Well, you know where we're at. We'll be tinkering. Don't mind the booms if they're not the fire explosions in the sky later. Well, it's probably us. And they kind of like hustle off down the alleyway, and they're like giggling and pushing each other like two youngsters. These goblins can't be over 2, maybe 3 years old, you know, as the average goblin lifespan is around maybe 12 if they're lucky.
This may be my first heist, but this does seem a little counterproductive, right?
I mean,
I
we're
don't know.
stealing rope.
I'm not sure why we need so much equipment. You know?
I mean, I feel like if we knew what the end game was, I feel like we could probably make a better plan.
Maybe. I don't know.
So we
Maybe
are.
we use the cart.
Ooh, the cart for what?
What?
So maybe we use the cart along with all of these things to hide that we're all inside.
I don't know, but like if Corey was gonna get us in because he's meeting with the king anyway, won't it be even like when he thought we were gonna look weird before? Aren't we gonna look even weirder showing up with this huge cart of paperweights?
Maybe? Trying to figure out where his head is at.
Well, as you are all thinking about it, we're gonna go on break for a few minutes. So players, you're able to take a few moments time to understand all of the items given to you. If you can use them, change them, do whatever you wish to enact your plan. Yeah, you're in a fun spot. So we'll be on break for about 10 minutes. And while we're on break, feel free to take a look at our sponsors and take a look at some of their things for, you know, Christmas ideas, because I know most of you play D&D. I'm sure friends and family need some metal dice. If they don't play D&D, get them some metal dice, and then they're stuck. They get to play D&D with you. That's just how I tried. I almost got my family to join. Almost. But we'll be back in about 10 minutes, and we'll figure out where we're going to go from here. So listen for our theme song. It'll be about 30 seconds long. And we hope to see you very soon. And we're back. Welcome to the tranquil world of D&D. With this guided tour of your inner D&D soul. Sorry, I was just feeling the music. It just felt like one of those very nice moments to have your Zen D&D.
Glenn's face was like, wait, I think I'm in the wrong place right now.
Isn't that just Glenn's face?
That just blends. Well, we're back.
Astute.
We're back, and we are in the right place. This is Here Be Dragons. We've got Jared, Sarah, Glenn, another Jared, and Lindsay. We have 2 Jareds here playing D&D. You should watch our stream and tune in because we are one of the most special channels on Twitch right now. We have 2 Jareds on screen at one time under the moniker of Here Be Dragons D&D. So, all filtering aside, we're the only show named Here Be Dragons D&D with 2 Jareds. But you're here. You're with us. You're enjoying your time. You're enjoying your time, damn it. My D&D, my DM roll says it's a 12. It's a 12. You might be enjoying your time.
I'm enjoying my time.
Welcome to my life.
Enjoying my
This is-
time.
He makes me roll on everything.
Yes, in
You
our
enjoy
household,
yourself.
if we can't choose, we just say, "Hey Echo, roll a d20," and we see what the Echo tells us. It's terrible.
That's awesome.
It's a terrible, terrible thing, but you should do it. We're back. We have a cart that has some spider mechanism underneath, a load of paperweights, some tablecloths and other garments, a bunch of rope, and 4 confused party members who need to get into the castle. One has an invite for a lunch meeting in a couple hours. The rest have a cart. All right.
The
What do we do?
spider.
A spider cart. Speaking of spiders, before we dive fully back in, we have a special show for you in 2 weeks. It's a 5-week month. Woo! Special show. We dump spiders on all of our players, somewhat in the middle. Spiders will show up. Players, you'll be getting a package in the mail in the next 2 weeks, probably closer to the 2-week time frame. Don't open it until I tell you. I mean,
Until he tells you to open it.
Glenn is in witness protection right now because he is deciding to flee the spider package. We'll be doing a fun episode. Our players will most likely dress up in their favorite Halloween costume and or like their character. So you'll get to see who they are and what they're dressed up in. Side note.
You should have notified us sooner on that.
You have 2 weeks.
I'm not on Amazon right now buying fairy wings.
We hear Jared frantically typing
I was
adult
just
fairy
like-
wings.
I literally just thought, shit, where's Spirit? I haven't seen one.
Oh no, I haven't seen a Spirit Halloween near us. I don't think there's been a Walgreens that has closed down recently enough. But you know.
I mean, just come back to LA. They're everywhere
They're
all year
everywhere.
round.
Yeah, the old
They
IKEA.
hang out in Burbank.
There used to be one like right across the street from where we lived. It was like above a DSW and you had to take like a broken escalator. Like the escalator never worked.
It made it amazing.
That's
So it was just
It-
like a fancy stairwell,
It was
but
an
it wasn't
experience.
because it was outdoors. It was nasty. It was weird.
It was an experience.
That's awesome.
That's
Uh,
weird.
So, our players may or may not be wearing their favorite Halloween costume, and if not, I'm sure you could find a beard that you could order very quickly, Sarah, and you could just be Glenn. Easy
And I'll
enough.
shave mine and look like her.
No, you can't shave yours. The chat needs you to make epic beards.
I
Oh,
literally
yeah.
just made a beard emote.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
Okay.
it was awesome, by the way.
it's not going away. But yeah, now that I've stalled enough, party, do you know what you're doing next with this spider cart and junk?
That is a fantastic question.
We
I
are.
believe I'm killing
taking
time
it-
until lunch.
I'm looking over. Oh man, I just looked over at Lindsay's screen and she's got the blow up dinosaur
No,
costumes.
pull them up. You type, if you search for any type of costume, the only thing that comes up is inflatable costumes. Like,
Inflatable
why
T-Rex.
is that the thing? Like, seriously, go on Amazon and Google Halloween costume. It's all inflated.
I believe you.
I mean, I don't feel like the prices are that bad.
Yeah, you get
So-
like $30 now.
So if you hear us in 2 weeks with fans blowing because you're not watching the stream, most likely all of our players are in blow up costumes. So they've got that fan blowing the whole time,
You missed
keeping it
it.
inflated. You missed it.
Just for you.
Oh geez, 4 T-Rexes, 5 T-Rexes on screen.
Down.
Oh. Any Amazon sellers, if you have a need for us to promote your inflatable T-Rex costumes, let us know. We'll rep them on screen for you.
Not just
back to the
T-Rexes.
story.
We're open to like
All
brontosauruses
of them.
too.
Brontosaurus.
I like those ones that make you look like you're
Unicorns.
riding something.
Oh yeah,
You know, like
like you're riding an ostrich or something.
I saw this awesome one where this kid it made it look like an alien was abducting him.
Amazing.
So it was like built on the kid's back, and it was like a flowing black robe, and so it looked like an adult-sized alien was abducting this child, and his dad was so scared. I would wear that.
Amazing. Possibilities are endless.
A kid in my high school dressed as Dirty Laundry for Halloween one year.
That's funny.
This is the sound of my players trying to figure out what they want to do with this cart. They're stalling.
Yes.
Players, what are you doing with this cart?
I'm
It's
gonna
not my
take it
cart,
up
I
to the
don't have the
room and
rope.
leave it.
You're just gonna take the cart up the stairs in the inn.
Yeah.
I want to go in
It
the
has spider
castle.
legs.
Okay. So is that what you're actually doing, Lily?
Yeah.
All right. So Lily heads back to the inn and walks the cart up the stairs, and it like bonks into the stairs and the railing just a little bit, but slides through the door fairly precisely. The innkeeper stands up quite tall and looks over, and his eyes bug out as you walk towards the stairs, and the cart just kind of tilts and starts like wobbling and walking up the stairs behind you. And you hear some mutterings from behind the bar. What was in my drink this morning? I'm not feeling very well. Who wants to take over the bar for me? As he yells into the back, into the kitchen area. And Lily, if you were to look over your shoulder and kind of past the cart, you see him setting his cloth down on the tabletop and just walking out the front door, just staring off into space. Like, you broke this barkeep. The
Yeah,
cart
I did.
the cart is like clunking and moving up the stairs in a walking fashion and kind of bumping into the rail, and is able to make it and twist and scrape against the door across the hall just a little bit, because it's not a very wide hall, and make it right into the room. And you hear tink 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 as the spider legs kind of wobble back and forth and stand in front of you, waiting for your next movement. And as Electrum had said, it follows you with the rope or the stone. So whatever you wish to do, if you want to leave it here, you may. If you want to do anything else, you may.
If I leave it here, can I take the stone with me and summon it if I need it, or does it just follow me with the stone?
It sounded to you like if you throw the stone or drop the stone, like if it leaves your possession, that's where the cart will go. He didn't say the distance or if it need to be seen in any way, but as long as the stone is in your possession, it doesn't follow it at all.
Okay. I'm just gonna take the stone with me.
Mhm.
And then hopefully I won't need it right away, but
Yeah.
I will definitely need it later.
As you set the rope down, the cart just kind of stands there and wobbles back and forth a little bit, and then eases down to the ground as it just kind of sits and crouches a little bit. The mechanical legs underneath seemingly at rest, as it seems to take that action as just stay here.
Okay.
As you do that,
I want to tell
The-
it that verbally, like, you stay here, I go, I come back for you, stay here.
it doesn't
Go on,
respond to
boy.
you.
I don't want you. Get out of here.
Oh man. As you say those things, it doesn't seem to respond to you. It just settles to the ground and just stays there.
Okay.
No sound, no reaction to what you said.
Okay.
The rest of you, you saw Lily just mumble something about taking the cart back to the inn and leaving it. And there's a pile of stuff sitting in the street in front of you, and you're set there for the time being. It'll be a few minutes before she can make the round trip. Anything you wish to do as she just leaves your presence? Do you follow her, or do you try and scheme here?
I mean, I'm just keeping an eye out on the people because I imagine this isn't a common thing that people will see. So, just want to make sure.
cart?
Yeah, we're not getting any unwanted attention.
Then
As you're stand-
did you follow me back?
No, just from the street.
Oh, okay.
For all
Keep
intents
an eye
and
out.
purposes, the cart seems to be not much more than a very, very wobbly cart. If a keen eye were to stare at it for too long, they would notice either the legs or that the cart is not wobbling on a motion of like a wobbly wheel, but it's like wobbling on the motion of leg movement. So you don't seem to see any of that, but a few moments later, you see the barkeep that had been in the inn earlier, come mumbling past you. A cart up the stairs. A cart up the stairs. What the? Ugh. And he like shakes himself, and he moves back into one of the homes just down the street from you, and walks up the step. And as he moves to go into the home, he drops his keys about 4 or 5 times, and then finally like fiddles with the lock, and you hear him mutter some curse words and then open the door and then slam it shut behind him. This man still broken from whatever he had just seen about a cart going upstairs.
Have I made it back to the party?
Yeah, Lily, you're a couple moments behind the innkeeper. Probably enough time that the door had slammed by the time you get up to the party, and the party's still taking in the fact that this man just went mumbling past, talking about a cart going upstairs.
So I went and dropped off the cart. It's gonna stay there until I need it. So let's go.
Sure. I mean, I think
To the cost.
we still have several hours.
You still have a couple hours till the lunch invitation, yes. The castle is down the road. So if you look at it, the inn essentially sits in a little block. Here's the entrance. You guys have gone out and around. There's a road that goes north of where you're at. The city center sits to the south of the inn. There's a couple roads that meet to go to the north. It seems that there's a park that is down this road, but the castle is just down the road a bit further. When I say down the road, I mean actually up a hill a little bit. It sits at a slightly more elevated position in the town. From where you're standing, you can actually see between some of the trees and housing that the castle has large glowing stones around it, much like one would show off like the biggest gems that they found in Crystal Keep or in the mines below Crystal Keep years and years ago. A few of them you notice are fake. They flicker in and out as if it's an illusion. A few of them seem to be there, but maybe not the original stone. It's a very bright show, and it seems to be even more alive because of the time of season it is. So the castle's a few hundred yards down this path, but there's a park in between and a couple small shops.
What kind of shops are there?
There's one shop that seems to sell all sorts of equipment for various trades. In the front window, you see a couple packs unrolled. One of them is a scryer's pack, or bookmaker's pack of sorts. So there's a few different quills, there's a few different inkwells, there's some binding materials and papers, and there's another pack just behind it that is a bit more of like a leather worker or fine tooling craft. There's a lot of very small tipped metallic tooling and a few knives and serrated blades that sit within this. The store has a big wooden, very ornate finish sign that hangs out in front of it, and it's called All Things Art. And art is a capital A, as if it's almost like a name, not like part of the title. There's a store just past that is linens and books, and it seems to be a place that has a bunch of fine crafted like pillows and drapery and whatnot for a home, and it's split down the center, and on the other side it looks like a library, as if two people had bought or rented a space together and they just kind of split it right down the middle. Even the sign feels mismatched, like it's definitely two shops in one. The final shop that you see is one that seems to be a bit out of place. The sign is dangling down a little bit more, hanging off its hinges a little bit, and a bit worn. And it's called Keepsakes. That's it. And inside, you do notice that there's a bunch of new and old various items that look like carved ornate stones to small embroidered pieces. It seems to be a place where local artists have either sold or are selling some of their crafts. And it has a wide collection of things. On the back wall, there's even weaponry as you kind of look through the windows that are a little bit cloudier than the two shops prior.
I would definitely like to take a look at some of the daggers that are in the art.
The All Things Art?
All Things Art, yeah.
Yeah. As you walk in and look about the shop, you notice that there's so many different types of equipment and kits for craft. But on the back wall, there's a few small weapons and a few small things that look more like what you'd use to either cut meats or cut leathers or various other things. Not so much like a fighting dagger, but more of a tooling dagger. And as you walk in, there's a young man standing behind the counter, a young human. He looks up. Oh, welcome to All Things Art. My name is Steve. I was abducted a few years ago by, well, let's just say it's been a wild ride. I used to live in another world. I went to a party and this portal dropped me here. Art was kind enough to give me a job.
Okay, Steve. I don't need your whole backstory. I'm just here to look at knives.
I only get about 2 customers a day, and I get so bored.
Why don't you tell me about some of the different items that you have in this store instead?
Okay, well, there's this kit for making magical liquids and stuff. Potionarium. I don't know. There's that up there. Over here we've got one that you can cook all of your favorite foods with. And he points to one that's got like a few ladles, but there's also a lot of small vials. You'd probably think this may be more of another form of alchemy kit and not like a cooking. And he just like completely destroys the description of each of these things as if he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's mildly close on a few of them. He points to a leatherworker's kit and he calls it the Rad Hog kit. And he says something about some fancy thing that you ride on 2 wheels, and you can make jackets to let you know who's in your group. And some weird words like motorcycle and whatnot in there. So he seems to be talking like he's definitely from another world. He points to a couple other kits that deal with smithing and with woodworking. He even steps behind the counter at one point and looks around. He sets a kit out and he goes,
This is a lockpickery. So you shouldn't be. You're not with the cops, are ya? You're not with the. I'm sorry, the guards.
No?
Okay, well, if you want to pick into locks, this is supposed to be one of the best kits here. I don't know the conversion rates, but I've been told this is 4 gold. Is that a lot? I don't know. 4 gold for this thing if you want it. And he sets it back behind the counter, but don't tell anyone that it's here. I probably shouldn't have shown you that. And then he points to the daggers and other knives up behind him. If you want something sharp, you can cut your turkey, you can cut your leather, you can cut a bad person, you can cut a good person if you're a bad person. We got knives galore behind me.
All right. Well, how about I take that lockpicking kit off your hands?
Wink,
And-
wink. I don't have that.
Right.
Okay,
right.
okay.
And one of the meat carving knives.
Big or little? And he points to a couple butcher's knives, one that's a little bit smaller and one that's like a major cleaver.
The little one.
Okay. And he sets it down. The little one to you is actually like a fairly decent size cleaver.
Right.
It would fit nicely. It's not like something overly large, like you'd swing over your shoulder like an orc. But
Okay.
the larger one that he pointed to was that. It would be kind of mildly awkward even for like a human to use. So he sets that down. So this one's a 4 gold plus 6 silver. Is that 46 dot? No. It's 4 gold
Let
plus
me
6 silver.
Let me pay you that.
Okay. And so he kind of looks around briefly, and then he goes under the counter and sets a book down and awkwardly like tries to write in cursive the items that he's selling, and it's very, very, very bad cursive writing that you notice on the countertop. He looks around and he writes the cleaver first, and then he writes set of picks. He doesn't write like a lock set or anything. And he spells it P-I-X. And he looks at you. So I'm supposed to get a name because you're buying this fancy leather-bound book of things. Let's just call you... are you okay with me just choosing a name, or do you want to give me a name that might not be yours?
You just asked her this.
You can call me Finnel.
Finnel. F-I-N-E-L-L. Okay, there we go. If you want to come back and buy anything more, I'm here all week. Art's on a trip right now. I'm so bored. I mean, have fun.
All right, thank you so much, Steve.
Yep. And he slides the items across the countertop to you, and takes the coins that you'd set. You hear him kind of drop them into a bag. Is this? Oh, okay. That's silver. That's gold. Okay. Oh, math. And you see him kind of writing in the book as you are able to walk out.
Okay.
The rest of you, while she's inside for a couple minutes, do you step into any of the other shops or hang out on the street?
I'm just keeping an eye out for anybody who might be looking for us.
All right.
Just because I know we were all possibly, not all of us, but some of us were may have been spotted or recognized from the other evening. So
Yeah,
I'm just kind of keeping a lookout, just relaxing under the guise of, looking out under the guise of relaxing.
Relaxing
roll.
under the guise.
This show just turned weird. Please roll me a perception while you're relaxing under the guise of looking out for the guys.
16.
16. As you look around, you notice a few passerbys, mostly kind of peeking into the shops, paying very little mind to you. There are a few that stare a little bit at the ferry in your midst, as Fey folk don't tend to roam into towns other than a few of the more elven kind. But there isn't a lot of attention paid to the group other than one of the oddities in town. And it's not a, whoa, what's that? It's more of a, wow, this is the first time I've seen a fairy. I've seen so many other creatures so far, is kind of the conversation you hear, because this, again, is the festival that attracts many, many folks.
I'm like looking around and I go, do we know if they're still rounding up people and throwing them in jail for no reason? Because that was annoying and I would really rather not do it again.
That was annoying and I'd rather not do it again. Nice.
Yeah, I feel like I asked somebody about that, but forgot about it.
Yeah, I believe the answer you'd gotten was they tried, or roughly they tried to make sure the streets were a bit cleaner for the festival, meaning they were trying to round up the underfoot gang before the festival had kicked off, and that was the day prior, before the main festivities. Today, the festival is in full force, and it seems that it's a little bit on the down low. But when you'd gotten the answer, you were under the assumption that the guards were still keeping a bit of an eye on the smaller folk, but just not outright arresting.
I relayed that information.
Information relayed. There you go, party. Fizz, that's what he kind of says.
That's profiling, and profiling's wrong. Also, I'm not making the streets dirty.
Am I outside for this conversation, or am I still shopping?
You'd be shopping for just another moment or so.
They've
before.
been clean up the streets. They should hire a street sweeper.
We could put a broom on the front of that cart.
Lily, you exit and hear something about Fizz saying a street sweeper, and then Corey responding with putting a broom on the cart.
What are you talking about?
I don't even know, to be honest.
Getting arrested for being short.
Oh, yeah. That sucked. If I find out that they're still doing that...
Boogeyman said they were trying to clean up the streets, and I was like, well, then they should clean the streets and not arrest people.
Cleaning us off the streets? That's
He said cleaning
rude
the
and
streets.
racist.
As you're all having a conversation, there's a set of older folks walking past, and you hear a little bit of conversation. They're in some very fine garb, and they're walking towards the castle, and you overhear a few words like enjoying a nice lunch with the king, and getting to the courtyards to see all of the flowers before they have lunch. So it seems like there's a few people that may be in some formal meetings or getting to see the king, but there's a courtyard or some place that they're hanging out prior, if you wish to get a bit closer to whatever your target may be.
Well, I mean, if they said that they're having lunch with the king, I gotta go with them.
Are you gonna move up towards this group, or are you just gonna kind of follow behind, Corey?
Yeah, I'll be close enough to be in the group from an outside observer, but not close enough to be in the group from inside.
Yeah, so as you're flying just behind them and catch this conversation, does anyone else follow along with Corey, or is this Corey's thing?
Well, I was gonna go, and I was wanting to get into the castle, so if he's taking off, I'm like, wait, you're leaving! You're my ticket in!
Yeah, I'm gonna follow as well.
All right. I think I saw the nod from Glenn or Eljor there is following along. As you all kind of move up behind this group, you hear conversations between a few of the older men in the back. Oh,
his brother was such a good party thrower. Last night's party was quite drab from the previous years. Oh, yes, it was quite drab. I believe that, he could have had a better selection of fine wines, but whatever.
And then you hear one of the women turn around.
Oh, if he messes up the fires in the sky later, then I hope we overthrow him. He's such a young pup. You can't mess with tradition.
And she turns back, and you hear a few of the women kind of giggle about that. And one of the older men leans to the other. So do we actually have invitations for lunch, or are we just gonna try and crash his lunch today? I mean,
Raining Coldfire, thanks for the raid.
hey! Raining Coldfire, thank you for joining. My name is Jared. We have Sarah, Glenn, Jared, and Lindsay as players here. We are D&D 5th edition. We are in Season 6, but this is the first season with this cast and with this story arc. So you're only a couple episodes in. So thank you for the raid. Thank you for the host. And feel free to engage in chat. We do read chat, so say hi. Our players are especially attuned to chat right now. Some of the things to note, you'll see below me, there's a hype boss. Any follows, likes, bits, tips, etc. will diminish that health bar. If you become the new hype boss, you get to give a nat 20, not a d20, to a person. Meaning, in place of rolling a d20, they get to say, oh, that was a natural 20, and use it as a crit or a major success. So with that, welcome, and have some fun here at the Stumble On Inn, also known as Here Be Dragons. So yes, the elderly folks in front of you seem to be dignitaries of a clan nearby. They're very familiar with the area. They're dressed very nicely, but not in similar clothes to the townsfolk here. And they seem to have been to this festival many years, and they just want to crash the king's lunch. Again, a reminder, this is a newer king, so this is his first festival as far as you understand. So we'll see what that means.
I would like to approach one of the older ladies and just kind of like, hey ladies, what's up? You want to tell me a little bit more about your king?
She
Seems like
looks
a young
down.
guy.
Oh, hello, miss. Are you looking to become royalty?
No, I'm interested because he's, your king, and I'm new to the area, so I don't know a lot, and I overheard you talking about how he's a young guy, and I want to know some more.
Well, he is quite a young whelp, barely over the age of... What is it?
And she leans over to one of the other women. You hear a number mumbled back.
Yes, probably 26, I believe, so he's got very little experience. His brother was in his mid-40s before he passed.
Oh, so he didn't inherit it from his dad, he inherited it from his brother?
That's precise. The father passed away about 12, 13 years ago. He was one of the best kings in the land. There was a war between his older brothers. It was something we don't need to delve into now. We're in the Festival of Lights, a happy time.
Not, yeah.
But all of the folks in the area are just so happy to be here. But let's just say you're new here, so enjoy the festivities. But if you hear stories, the festivities are a little lackluster compared to other years, so maybe next year will be even better if you're still here. Why? Well, he's a new king. He took over. Well, he's young. He took this over recently. There's probably a few things, maybe not his fault. But also he seems to have changed everything from how his brother ran it. But we'll see. We still have the Sky show tonight, and over the next few days, there's a few more things. You'll get to see some of the largest jewels and some of the most magical pieces if he hasn't changed that piece.
have you been here for long? Did you grow up here?
Oh, I grew up about 400 miles to the east of here. Near the center of that part of the country. Well, a bit closer to the ocean, but we travel here every year. This is my 48th visit, and I look
That's
to
amazing.
see a few more. I was in my early 20s when I became a dignitary for my land. Oh, I forget. I'm sorry. My name is Lady Eldritch.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Lily Aris.
Oh, are you a
But you can
dignitary
call me
as well?
Lily.
Lily. Madam Lily? Queen Lily?
No queen. Just a lady.
Oh, okay.
It's
Well,
fine.
well, you
What?
best be on a list to get into the castle then. If you're not a dignitary, not everyone's allowed in.
No, I'm just following. I'm like I said, I'm new to the area. What would you say is your favorite part of the festival?
It's gotta be
Any
the
suggestions?
skylights tonight.
Really?
You cannot
Okay.
miss them. They're beautiful. There's pictures in the sky. The bards do such a good job.
Wonderful. I'll be sure not to miss them.
All right. Well, best of luck getting into the castle, and have fun at the show tonight. It was a wonderful meeting you.
You too.
And she kind of turns back and starts talking to the rest of her group, and doesn't quite ignore you, but more or less ends the conversation there.
Yeah, it didn't sound like she wanted to talk to me very much.
Yeah, especially after she found out that you weren't royalty, she quickly hastened the conversation.
Yeah. Oof. I can't.
The rest of the group is able to overhear most of the conversation, as you weren't too far behind. Anything you wish to do as you're approaching the castle gates, where there's a few guards in very ornate, like fancy wear, and less of their like more battle daily wear.
As we get close, just be like, I'd whisper back, remember, y'all are my guards, protecting me. That's our play.
You got it.
I'd rather be part of an entourage. I'm not really the guard type.
I mean, do you have new clothes in there? Or perhaps a bath in your little bag?
I pull out my sparkly coat and I like swirl it around and I put it on.
Again, this is a fairly normal canvas coat that fits our kobold here. And as she puts it on, the fringes glow and sparkle and crackle. Some of the weaving around the edges shows ornate patterns. None of you recognize the pattern, so it's not from a land near enough. So hopefully it's enough disguise. But it does kind of crackle and sparkle as she moves, making it a little more ornate than her standard common wear and the charcoal across her face.
That's really nice. Where did you get that?
I'm borrowing it from a friend.
Nice.
See, it's
What a
phrases
lovely
like
friend.
that make me worry.
Why?
Because if you're wearing it and, like, the king recognizes it,
Why
we're
would the
screwed.
king recognize it?
I'm gonna give it back.
I don't know who she stole it from.
I didn't
You
steal it. I'm
you just-
borrowing it. I'll put it back. I won't wear it if you don't want me to. But you're the one who told me to wear something different.
Well, again, I don't know where you stole that from, so...
I didn't steal it.
Where did... Then who's your friend that you got it from?
The person at
Who is
the
it?
party that let me borrow it. I'm gonna put it
A
back.
party like the party?
Yeah, the party. That's what I said.
And they handed it to you.
I think you're getting bogged down with the details. The important fact is
I just
that
don't want to get in trouble.
if you want me to wear something nicer than what I'm wearing, because apparently I'm trash on the streets, then this is what
I didn't say
have.
that.
If Corrigan's worried, I'm worried.
Fine, I'm gonna put it back, but I'm not a
Save
guard.
it
That
for a
just doesn't
different
make sense.
occasion.
So are you stuffing this cloak back into your?
Yeah, well, I'm folding it because I
Okay.
really like this coat.
Well,
And it's not mine.
Again-
I'm borrowing it, so I'm trying to take care
Again,
of it.
I've got no concerns with you keeping it. I just don't think maybe it's the best thing to wear to the place where maybe you got it from.
You asked if I had anything else to wear.
Right. Well, you said you didn't want to be a guard, so
Well,
now we
I'm
need
not
to
a
find a
guard.
position or
that
a job
just
for
doesn't
you.
track. I mean, look at me. Do I look like a bodyguard?
No, but you also don't look like an entourage.
I mean, I make sure you're equipped with all the everything you need.
We'll
You are
come up with
stronger
something.
than you look.
We'll come up with something. All right.
For those of you just joining, if you haven't seen it, we do have a card off to my left on screen that rotates through each of our characters, and the names below each of our players will match up once in a while with their character. So we're a party of some interesting folk. We have a kobold who has been arguing with our fairy, and then we have a normal elf, except not really because he's an Eladrin. And then we have a young lady whose bow is as taller than her, because she's a halfling, and she shoots a pretty large bow. So, they're just trying to walk into a castle during a very prestigious time and event.
With an invitation.
Yeah, we have an invitation.
The fairy has the invitation.
Transitive property still applies.
Is this in character? Because that sounds like a fizzle popism.
I met you people 3 days ago, maybe.
Are you getting us in or
Maybe.
not?
I don't know. We'll see.
Worth a try.
If anything, we
Wait.
can wait outside. Usually retinues, even if they aren't allowed inside, we'll be allowed to stand outside, and we can be here if
What-
you need us.
What I think is most likely to happen is you'll be allowed in, but not to the actual table, which might be a benefit to go. I'm going to London again, guys. Might be a benefit to go and scout around the castle. Now I'm in Ireland. Fuck.
Yeah.
Our well-traveled fairy here.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Do you know what the topic of conversation is that you're gonna have with the king?
Well, I'm just I'm gonna ask him about the attacks on the inn, the murders. I'm gonna ask him if perhaps quarters here would be better served for me and mine. Safer. And we'll see. I'm just going to try to be his friend.
No, that's great. I think that's a great plan.
At this point, the group of elderly folks ahead of you has spoken to the guards at the gate, and all have entered. They took a couple moments to speak to the guards. But you are standing out in the street, probably about 20-30 feet away from the entry. If you wish to attempt to enter now, you may. Otherwise, there's a few a few shops you can go back to peek into, or you can do whatever you wish. This is your world. You could kill the guards. You could ransack the castle. See how far you get. I don't think that's Eljor's
Wink, wink.
goal.
The DM wants us to.
but wink, wink. I just want to see blood and mayhem. You guys have somehow evaded all battles into what? This is episode 4.
Yeah.
Sorry
a
for
record.
those. Sorry for those of you watching. This party likes to evade battles. It's kind of hilarious how they do it. but they haven't fought anything yet.
Ian's like, I want to kill something.
I want to kill.
I don't know.
Yeah, unless you guys want to do
Corrigan,
more
are you
shopping.
ready?
Yeah, unless you guys want to do more shopping.
I already did all the shopping I can do for now.
All right, I'll approach the entrance with my peoples.
Hello, welcome to the castle. Do you have an invitation or you want a list that I should look at?
I've got an invitation right here, sir. I produce said invitation.
Let me look at that a little bit closer.
And he reaches his hand out to have you place the invitation.
I pass it to him.
It seems that whoa, this is the king's handwriting itself. It seems you have a lunch with him today. Not sure how you did this, but you must be quite important. And who are the others with you? It only mentions one name.
Yes, well, there's been some trouble around the city, and some emissaries and their parties have been attacked last evening, so I took it upon myself to hire a couple pair of guards. That'd be these ones here, the fighty looking ones. And then this is Lord Fizzlepup. Took my fancy, makes things. Think about it as my own personal artificer.
He kind of looks with a bit of a scowl on his face across the group.
Well, I believe it's hard to find good help at this time with all of the emissaries in town. Yes, it seems you've, are you sure you have enough protection with this group?
I feel pretty safe.
Well, if you feel safe...
And if not,
we
I can
feel safe.
always run.
Well, you shouldn't have to worry about anything within the grounds here. We keep a pretty solid eye on who comes and goes, so, I guess if this is your trusted party, you may enter. You'll pass through the gardens, and then you'll head up the front steps. And as you head in, just show the note, and anyone that you show this to that's of help in the castle will direct you to the king or to wherever you're supposed to be next. So enjoy. This is quite an honor. Corrigan, it was nice to make your acquaintance. Welcome to Crystal Keep.
I do just like a poof of dust at him.
And as you do that, he like bows and you hear
Enjoy your drip inside.
And then I head on into the gardens.
the other guard that's standing at the door just gives a little bit of a side eye at the group, not as if out of anger or fear or frustration, just to do a once over, making sure there isn't anything strange going on. He doesn't lock eyes with any of you or seem to linger on any of you for more than half second or so, and then continues to face forward and look out to the street that you had come off of. As you step through the large archway, you notice that the gardens start the entrance of this castle. Oddly enough, the gardens are quite large, as if whatever was here before, when it was more of a hamlet, had been torn down and destroyed. Some of the stalls and shops here have been turned into gardens. So there's multi-tiered sets of flowers and trees and whatnot. And it goes on for a couple hundred feet in any direction, very much like it was a manicured safe haven for royalty and not a place where the town had resided any longer. So it lives very much separate from the rest of the town you had come from. You hear a few birds tweeting within some of the trees. You smell all sorts of produce and flowers waft through as you wander into the gardens. It's a serene place. There's a few others moving about, but you seem to be fairly left to your own. Up ahead, you see the front of the castle, as if this was a main street that went straight to the castle in a previous life. This main street is now just a very ornate cobble path that goes up to the stairs of the castle. There's some bright glowing gems that sit on each stair going up on the edges as if to be lighting the path. If it were darker out, it would probably be quite a sight with the large gems floating around the castle and the towers. So, being midday, you're missing out on the full effect of some of the bright lights and colors, but you get the general gist as the sun glints off of each of these things and gives you a beautiful sight ahead.
Is there still time before?
For all you understand, the lunch didn't really have a set time, but it's probably a bit of time, a little bit that you could explore the castle or go inside or look around a little bit more, and you won't be behind.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. What do we explore around a little bit? Get our bearings, as it were?
Yeah,
That
how
makes
much
sense.
free
That's a
reign
good
do we
idea.
have to explore the castle?
It doesn't seem
Like, are there
so.
guards all over the place, or maids,
It seems
cooks?
like there's a guard and a couple gardeners out in this area. And when I say there's a guard, he's just walking around, keeping his eye actually at the castle walls, as if to make sure no one's trying to scale them or fly over them or whatever. And there's a few gardeners just doing their own thing, so you're not really being paid attention to. It seems that as long as you've made it in the front gate, you're pretty well welcomed. You're not being escorted or pushed or watched in any way at this moment.
That's great.
And because we haven't seen any dragons, this is your first sighting of dragons in this town. You see one fly over the castle, but it's got an ornate gem like harness on it. And as it kind of loops around the castle, you see a single rider standing on its back on a like a saddle of sorts. And it turns, and you see the rider like pulling up on a rein as if to move this magnificent beast through the air. And behind it, there's streamers of colors hanging off of the dragon's tail, and the dragon shoots flame up into the sky a few times. And it seems to be potentially either part of the castle or one of the emissaries coming from a distant land, being very over the top with their entrance. But it doesn't seem like anyone's worried about it. The eyes of the gardeners look up, and you hear some like oohs and ahs briefly as this dragon flies past.
They just straight domesticated a dragon? That's pretty
It's definitely
impressive.
been a while since I've even heard stories of people riding dragons. Must be a man of means.
Little kobold just said it's not right. Oh.
That's like, look, I can do it too. And I fly and just hover behind Fizz. It's like, I'm a dragon rider, woo! Not really, but...
Not really. Fizz is shooting daggers.
You're the one that's flying. I should climb on your back. And then I go, come here, corgi man, and I like reach after him.
Guards!
Guards. This playful banter and running about in the garden doesn't seem to draw much attention. This is a fairly calm moment as you've had some interesting interactions prior.
Yeah, if there's
Sorry,
nothing
did you
going on
say
out
that those-
here...
Old ladies
think we
got
just-
inside.
Yeah, the elderly group had been ahead of you a bit, and they actually seem to be moving up the stairs at this point into the castle. Like they just went straight for the castle, but they don't seem to be getting in. They're just standing at the top step, talking to a couple of the guards there for a bit more time than just passing through. And then Corey, you were gonna say something.
Yeah, I was gonna say if there's nothing out here going on or no like strange people or happenings, make my way towards the castle.
Towards the castle. Yeah, as you head to the castle, the group of elderly emissaries and royalty ahead seems to get turned away at the door, and you see a couple of the folk kind of stomping down the stairs, and they don't make eye contact with any of you, and they're just like muttering and murmuring how they weren't allowed in this year, and there's no way to crash the lunches and hang out like they used to, and it seems like they're being shunned from some of the old ways of the City of Lights, or the Festival of Lights, and now this new king is a bit more strict or doing things his own way, and they're not happy about it, and so they kind of stomp past you out the same gate that you all had come through as you approach the stairs up to the castle door. Anything you do prior to that, or do you just wish to approach the guards?
Did they look at us or anything?
No, they didn't want to make eye contact with you. They were grumpy. They were not having it today.
Well, when they're past us, I look after them and I go,
Fizz makes some rude gestures behind.
That's great. I'm glad they got turned out.
Yeah, go up to the guard at the door. And
Welcome to Crystal Keep. Do you have an invitation from the king?
Says the young man standing at the door.
I do, and thank you for your hospitality. And I show the invitation.
As you show the invitation, the young man, you see that he's not wearing any form of like metal armor. He seems to be a bit more just like court note taker or court apprentice of some sort. Quite young to be in any formal position, but he's at the door. He steps inside and kind of leans just a little bit over and looks at something behind the door.
Yes, it seems that you are on the list. I only have one noted. The rest of your party, can you explain their need to join, or shall I set them at a table inside to wait for you?
Well, I don't know if you're aware, but there's been some attacks on the emissaries in town, and I felt it would behoove me to acquire some protection, as it were.
Do you wish to have your guard with you the whole time you're here, or do you wish that they wait for you? I assure you that the castle does make sure that we're safe, obviously with the king, but we do want to make you comfortable.
Well, I'd prefer to have at least one of them with me. Perhaps I could keep one with me, and the others could just kind of explore the grounds.
Well, inside the castle, they're not allowed to roam very far. Most will have to be escorted by a guard or the king himself. But you may take as many as you need to feel comfortable and safe. The rest may wait either in the foyer or the small dining nook off to the side where we will provide refreshments.
Well, give me a moment and let me discuss
All right.
their protection plans here.
When you are thoroughly comfortable, we will let you in the grounds, and Horace here, and he points to the really burly guard standing at the door. Horace will escort you into the king, and I assure you, he will keep you safe as you enter the grounds. And you hear like a guttural rumble from the man, as if like he's battle hardened and ready to take anything that comes his way, as like a sign of yes I will. But he doesn't say a single word, just a and he nods his head at you, and you're able to step off to the side and discuss if you wish.
Okay. All right. So, what do you guys think? if I keep one with me, the others can maybe vanish and find this magical rope.
Take Eljor with you.
Just shoves the elven man, just like go.
Have fun.
Okay.
All right.
I'm down for refreshments.
All right. Well, let's do that then. And you and Fizz will go and do things. Have some refreshments. Wink.
This is supposed to be tea. Sorry, I made it look like it was weed. It's not.
No, the castle isn't providing any weed, but they will provide you tea.
confused because I thought this was supposed to be a castle, not a hospital, and they're giving us refreshers.
Refreshments?
Sure.
It's just like
Cookies?
teas and cakes and stuff. Think of them as delicious stairberries.
Biz, where are you going with this?
What? No, I'm not going anywhere.
Okay.
You
Well, but so you know, Fizz heard hospitality and got confused. She's like, wait, thought we were at a castle. not a hospital."
Oh, she heard hospitality and thought it was a hospital. Okay. Come on, kobolds.
This that's Lily Harris. I leave that with you.
Lily, you have Fizz under your care?
I do.
So it is a hospital?
Yeah, I'm your nurse. Get in the chair. I'm gonna feed you cake and make you drink the tea.
I look up at the guard. I don't know what's happening. I have no idea. I think Eljor here is the best behaved.
The best
I'll
behaved.
take Eljor with me.
I didn't
And
do
Lily
yeah.
anything
Harris and Fiddlepup
wrong.
can avail themselves of.
That's fine. I'll
some
probably find the rope
refreshment.
better than you guys, anyways.
You do
Wow.
All right, now, if there's a problem, if everything goes to shite, like I feel like it's wont to do, our plan is to get out and meet up back in the basement of the inn. Yes? No?
Is his cape, was it a small cape or was it a normal cape?
It was a small cape.
Oh, okay.
It would most likely cover about 2/3 of Lily or Fizz.
Hmm.
It wouldn't be a full covering floor to
I
Florida.
mean, I can definitely leave it.
Corgiman, can we have your invisibility cape so that we can fully enjoy our refreshers? Under the care
yeah.
of the nurse?
Yeah. I pass it to them. Just be careful with it. Don't spill anything on it.
We'll
Do you
try.
even know me?
I mean, I won't.
She
Oh,
wipes the
man.
charcoal off her face with the cape.
There's a smudge floating in midair.
There's pollens all around, so I go, Achoo!
Man. As you finish your conversation, and it looks like you're kind of wrapping up, the large guard at the door starts to kind of put his hand on the door and push it open a little bit and give you a nod as if you can enter when you're ready.
Yeah, we make our way in. We do it.
All right, well, I'll bring you to the king. Who's staying for the refreshments?
Me.
All right, ladies, if you step into that nook over there, there's a couple tables. You may choose your table. We'll get refreshments out. Someone will come offer you some drinks and some sweets and some other things. If you're here for long, there's a few beds around the corner. You see a couple cots. You may take a nap in those. as they hang out with the king and do whatever the king wishes, feel free to roam this area in the foyer and the nooks. Let us know if you need anything. We will give you free passage in and out of the castle. But you must ask us for a slip to get back in. Enjoy. Sirs, follow me. And he opens through another door, which seems to go into more of a throne room. The throne room is very bare and empty. There's a few paintings on the walls, and there's a lot of spaces on the walls that look like paintings had hung, but had been removed in the last 6 to 8 months or less. And so there's some markings on the walls left from sun and some fade. And then the wallpaper behind where the paintings were didn't get that fade, so there's some dark squares across the walls. As you walk in, to your left, you see all of the paintings and the missing paintings, and to the right, you see some large windows, a few stained glass, a few clear, and it seems to go every other one. The stained glass has what seems to be stories of other kings. One is standing by the head of a dragon with a sword driven into the skull. Another is standing in front of a large waterfall that seems to be like frozen over in its depiction. Another is standing in front of what seems to be slain bodies of orcs, but in front of this castle specifically, as if it was an attack that they had fended off. And it's some really ornate stories. All of the work seems to be quite old, so it's not like anything that has happened in the last 5 or 10 years, but maybe 50, 100, 300 years ago or more. At the very far end, a couple hundred feet down, there's a young king kind of sat twisted in the seat of the throne, just kind of leaning back and tossing something up in the air and catching it in his mouth, and a couple of things bounce off of his face and roll down the steps. A young man walks out with another bowl of these small things and sets it down next to him. There's a few empty bowls, a few empty glasses. This guy seems to be just dilly-dallying, doing his own thing, hanging out in the throne room. And when he notices you after a few failed throws and catches of something in his mouth, he's alerted a bit by the guard walking ahead of you. Your Highness. And the king sits up and straightens his wear a little bit and looks at you. My fairy friend, Corrigan. Welcome. And who is it you have with you today?
Oh, this would be my hired man, Eljor.
Well, Eljor, Sir Eljor, welcome. This is my throne room. It's kind of boring, but I do have a luncheon prepared for us. I'll send for an extra seating. It's an honor to have you.
Your Majesty, that won't be necessary. I will allow you to have your lunch with your friend. I am simply here at his behest.
Well, I will send for an extra plate of food in case you need anything while you stand guard. Thank you for protecting this beautiful creature. Corrigan, sir. Shall I call you sir? Ma'am? I don't know. I have not yet met many fairies, so forgive me.
Well, to be fair, we're all different. Personally, I prefer the they.
Right? Corrigan, your liege.
I do hope you're feeling better from last evening's merriment.
Well, I've had a few of what ailed me and a few of what cures me. And you see a few glasses that look like they had some wine in it, and a few glasses that look like they had water in it. The bowls, you notice, looks like they had fruits and berries and various other things. There's a small loaf of bread kind of torn up on a plate. You definitely see that he was trying to cure himself of the hangover he had the evening prior.
Well, we've all been there. I myself woke up a little woozy this morning from the Fey wine.
As you say that, his jaw drops a little.
Oh, I tried a sip of the stuff a few years ago, and let's just say I woke up in an alleyway, about 3 towns over. when I say that, let's just say it was about 63 miles hike. Don't know how it happened, and I believe it was not just 1 but 2 days that had passed. So I could see, Feywine would do you in a little bit.
Yes, I feel like you've got to build a tolerance. Luckily, I've been weaned on it since birth, so my ma would say, "Drink this," and I drink it.
Well, that's quite intriguing. I can't touch the stuff anymore. Ugh. But to each their own. Shall we? And he points down a hall just behind the throne that seems to have a large seating area within. When I say seating area, more like a table set for some lunch. There's a pile of food already in the center of it, and you see a few servants placing more food at the table. And he looks over both of you. I do hope this is enough. It should be just us. And from what you can tell, it's probably enough to feed half an army. It's more food than you could ever want. But it's there. And he's really flexing his castle and king status here. And he kind of just walks along and like merrily walks forward, not so much in a regal or royal manner, just very much like a youngster taking the lead mentality. And he leads you to the table and sits down in one of the chairs, and a couple servants quickly hustle over there and try to help the king in his seating, but he seems to be just doing his own thing. But chairs get pulled out for each of you as you wish to sit down.
Oh, thank you. This looks amazing, and you needn't have gone through all the trouble. But I will very much enjoy myself.
Well, enjoy. We'll have some discussions after you start with a plate or two, because I don't know about you, but I am a bit hungry. And he just starts loading his plate. And as he's loading his plate, we will hop over to the ladies in the foyer. Bless you. As you are sitting out there, and take a seat for a moment. It's quiet for a little while. A guard passes through briefly and goes out the front door. A few moments later, a different guard comes through, and it seems like they're just kind of moseying about, taking a shift that seems to be rotating every about 3 to 5 minutes. You've seen a quick changeover immediately, and you are seeing a second changeover before anyone comes and approaches you. A small goblin walks up, and he kind of hangs his head. I've been asked to take your orders. And he kind of looks up at both of you. Madams, is there anything I can get from the kitchen for you?
I would like just a large sandwich and a tall glass of water.
All right. For you.
How about those stackos that I've been hearing about?
Stackos? Oh, it's a new craze that came from one of the other islands. Oh, I love making them. Yes, I'll get you some stackos.
Yeah, you will.
And he looks around and kind of dances in place a little bit. You're the second person to ever order those here. It's quite a treat. I enjoy them myself. Anything to drink? And he's still like not trying to make eye contact with you, but just like looking down at his tray.
Bring me something that's good.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll do that.
You're doing a good job.
Thank you. And he hustles off. And you see that as you've entered, you are essentially, if we're looking at the room, you entered from the bottom right of the room, and you're sitting off to the left side. Eljor and Corey had gone through like the upper right side, so on the same side that you entered. The goblin goes to the upper left side, so the kitchen is just a little bit north of where you're at, essentially, just past the cots. There's a large stairwell that goes up
at the top of the stairs, there's a painting that has a black cloth draped over it to cover whatever the subject is there. The stairwell splits about 15 or 20 steps up at the landing where this painting is and goes in two directions, left and right. And it seems to go up to like an archway or a walkway that surrounds the central of this foyer. And from the center of the foyer, you're able to see a little bit of a chandelier that hangs down that seems to be not the floor above, but the floor above that. So a very, very large, ornate chandelier that takes up most of the open air. This is where you're left. Your goblin handmaid servant, whatever you may call them, is off making lunch for you, and it's fairly quiet for you two to sit out here.
How much you want to bet that covered painting up there is the prior king? I say we check it out.
Is
Yeah. I mean, that's what we're here for. But can I eat my stackos first?
Absolutely.
I've really been wanting these, so like.
I don't blame you. But as soon as the food gets here, we're taking a walking lunch.
Can I? But I want to eat it.
You don't want walking
Yeah.
stackos?
Eat and walk. Eat and explore.
Oh, I thought you
Remember?
said I had to walk for lunch. Whew, I was worried.
No, he's bringing it to us. Like the queens we are.
No, I thought you meant like he was gonna bring our food and I had to walk and not eat my food.
Oh, no.
A few moments later, the goblin reappears and he's got a tray full of drinks. He carefully sets the large glass of water on the table in front of Lily, and then on the rest of the tray, he sets a small glass of water, a small glass of juice. There's a fairly potent smelling alcohol, very small like glass or snifter of it. He sets down a large pour of what looks like a beer. There's a steaming liquid that smells very much like the coffee from this morning. He sets down a glass of some milk of some sort. And he kind of looks across and goes,
Well, I didn't know what you wanted, so customary with the king here is to bring all the options. So I do hope you enjoy. Food will be out in just a second.
he hustles off. So Fizz, you've got like 7 drinks in front of you of all sorts of types. Lily, you just have your large glass of water. And you hear some clanking and clinging, and when he said a matter of moments, it was only a few seconds, he steps back out with his empty tray, and a couple goblins are standing next to him. Very much same demeanor, older goblins. They all are like keeping eyes away from your watch, and they set plates in front of each of you, a large sandwich and a plate full of a few stackos, which are more or less like an American taco. The breading is a little bit thicker, however, and they're made in such a way that there's meat, cheeses, and vegetables piled on. There's a few like raw mushrooms on top, something a little different than what you would see as a normal taco, but otherwise, if you've ever seen an American taco, that's it. Lunch is served, and all of the goblins hustle off towards the kitchen and make very little sound other than the splat, splat, splat of their feet running through the tiled floors. You're there with lunch.
Awesome. Let's go. I like pick up my sandwich in either it's on a plate or a napkin or something. I just pick it up and start walking and eating.
It's on a plate. Do you take the plate with?
Yes.
All right. So each of you scoops your plate. There's no one else in this room at the moment, so you're not bothered when you start walking up the stairs with your plates of food. Bits of cheese and meat and things bouncing onto Fizz's plate as she's trying to eat these stackos on a walk. Anything you wish to do as you're walking up the stairs, or just chowing down?
I'm eating my stackos.
You're just
Chowing down, but I do want to see what is underneath that. What's on that frame that's covered
Alright.
up.
Heading towards the frame, nom 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 nom, eating and heading up the stairs. At another table, nom 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 nom. The king is just shoving food in his face, and he's like swinging it around as he's talking and eating. And most of his words are highly and hard to understand, very intelligible, very unintelligible. Sorry, and you hear some conversations about. He's so excited to finally have the throne and happy to have many dignitaries and others visiting, and this is his first festival of lights. As far as what you can make out the conversation to be, Corrigan, as you're sitting at the table making your plate, and Eljor, is, I assume you're standing by. A question pops up in the middle of it where the king just stops and he swallows and goes, so what do you like best about my castle? And he sloshes the glass of wine in hand. He's already starting to imbibe a bit more, not learning from his mistakes the evening before.
Well, to be right honest, I've only really seen the garden that we came through, and the hall from last night of the castle. I'm sure there's plenty of fun and interesting things out there, but I do appreciate a good garden. 'Twas quite well kept, and it did make me feel a little at home.
Well, that's good because I don't have any leanings on it. I do enjoy picking an apple once in a while and enjoying that as I walk the gardens, but you may spend as much time as you wish out there. But because you haven't seen all of it, eat up. We'll go on a quick tour. And he stuffs a few things in his face, and as he does, he looks over at Eljor. So Eljor, you want some of this before we go?
I assure you, sir, I am quite stuffed, but thank you so much.
Or you're missing out. And he's got like food falling everywhere. And he stands up a moment later. And as he stands up, he puts his arms out, and a couple of the hand servants come over and are like brushing not just crumbs, but like chunks of like his roll off of him and like cleaning him up very much. And they quickly pull the tabard off of him and place a new one on. And you guys hear mumblings about how disgusting this man can be as they walk away, but they're very quiet. So I think mostly Eljor hears how the staff thinks that he's just such a slob of a kid versus a regal royal king, and they aren't as excited about like his luncheons, but they get him prepared very quickly, to the point where the king like ate half of his mounded plate, spilled about a third of the plate, and is grabbing a bottle of wine that he's just kind of sucking out of as he is ready to tour the castle, just being a bit of a slob of a youngster, enjoying too much of his riches. And he stands over by Eljor briefly. Oh, you've missed quite the selection here. If you wish, we can pack some of it up or order something from the kitchen if you get hungry. Just pay no mind, there's lots of food. It's a festival, of course. And he burps a few times in the middle of his discussion with you. Whenever you're ready, Sir Corrigan, we can take this trip, but I don't want to rush you. I just need to stand up to let... I think I ate too much. And he takes a swig out of his bottle of wine.
After you, sir. I'll gladly take your lead and follow.
You've had enough time to at least nibble a light lunch, unless you're eating as hastily as the king. He kind of looks around and lets out a big breath. Okay, well, so this castle, there's a lot of fun about it. I can show you the armory, I can show you the halls, I can show you the upstairs, I can show you
Well, I can show you where the lair is. You've probably heard of it, where some of the largest gems are kept. You've been in the area before, right? Sir Corrigan, or Lord Corrigan, and, Sir Eljor?
Was that where the party was? The things were on display?
No, you're in the castle today. The party was in a hall towards the front of town. Apparently there's bigger, better, brighter things here, is what he's pointed out. And he's giving you both full openness on the floor to discuss. You're both his guests.
I have not had the pleasure, sir.
Well,
I mean, it sounds so exciting, all of it.
well, in this area, we used to be known for mining gems and crystals and all sorts of magical items. Well, we have a secret lair that runs the central of the castle. It's not so secret. Everyone knows there's the lair here, but it runs the central of the castle, and that's where most of our precious keepsakes are stored. I could show you a few of them. There's lots of gadgets in there and lots of fancy things. But you mustn't tell anyone what's here because, well, they're my toys now. I don't want anyone to come thieving any of these things.
You've got my word. Nothing seen today will leave these walls.
Well, all right. I've got a bottle of wine. Do you want some Fey wine? I could send for some.
Sure. That sounds delightful. Never turn down the Fey wine.
I'll bring some Fey wine.
Kings are offering.
Yes. And he raises his open hand. Sir Eljor, do you wish anything?
Simply the pleasure of your company is merriment enough.
It's a merry time, and if that is what you wish, well, we'll enjoy our wine, and you can enjoy our company. And he waves down one of the handmaids off to the side, and the young man runs over, and he looks around, like confused as to what he needs to do. And the king goes, Sir Hand, please bring some Fey wine. And the young man just kind of like jaw drops, like that's not a normal thing to request, and runs off into the kitchens. And the king turns to you. Well, he'll catch up to us. Let's go play in the lair. Now, what was that?
Oh, yeah, okay. Go on.
Is there anything you wish to say or do?
No, it's just going to be lead on.
Lead on.
Situation. Yeah.
All right. Well, the king walks forward, and as he walks forward, he takes a couple turns down some halls, and you get to a wall. Like, he walks down a hall that seems to have no doors in it, and just like dead ends. And as it dead ends, he looks around, and the young hand runs up and places a small glass of Fey wine in front of you, Corey, or hands it up towards you, and then looks down at the floor and runs off the instant you're able to grab it from him, as if he knows he's not supposed to be down that hall. The king looks around and begins poking at a couple of the stones and mumbling under his breath as if he's doing something correctly, and you hear a few curses, and he keeps poking at a few stones. And a few moments later, it seems he's got the correct pattern of how the stones were touched or poked or prodded, and the wall starts to kind of split in the center to a dark space that starts to light up with magical flames. And as it starts lighting up with magical flames, we're going to go over to Lily and Fizz, who have made it to the top of the stairs at that painting with the drapery over it. Underneath the black drapery, as you peek under, it seems to be a painting of royalty, somewhat older than you'd expect. Someone in their late 70s or so. So it might not have been the last king based on what you had understood, but it could have been their father.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
otherwise, this landing, as you turn around and look, you see there's a big walk path around that kind of looks out to the front gardens, but it seems also to lead up and around this wall into something deeper into the castle. Again, no one's really around. It's very quiet. It seems like this young king doesn't keep much company within the castle walls, of course.
Okay. I'd like to continue walking up the staircase unless you'd like to go see something else, Fizzle. Fizz?
Okay.
You're fine?
Yeah.
All right. As you walk up the staircase, you do notice that, indeed, if you were to continue back to the front, it basically is just a little walk to look out over the gardens. There's nothing much up there, a small sitting nook. But back behind the wall where this painting is, it seems to be a spot where there's a small library and workshop. And it seems to be of more of the repair nature, of higher quality stuff. So some of the guards' uniforms, some of the crown and jewels of the king. There's a lot of fancy tooling there. Back behind, there seems to be a wall that just kind of dead ends at the end of this hall, and it's a very ornate space. Everything's well kept. There's one workstation that's a little bit more messy, that has a few things out, like it was mid repair of some armor from one of the guards, and there's a few small gemstones that look like they'd been removed from the armor where a dent had occurred.
Okay. You said we were looking for some rope. Were we gonna find that here?
You don't see any rope out, but you do recall that Electrum had said that there was a chest the rope was in, a large metal chest.
Okay. Are there any chests in here?
No, the chests that you see here are quite small. They hold fasteners and various other things. Nothing like a large chest that would hold rope, but more of like just a little box of sorts. But the room does feel like it kind of dead ends to a stone wall that's a little bit out of place at the end of the hall.
That's really weird. Do you see that, Fizz?
Yeah. I'm gonna roll an investigation.
Okay.
Well,
Sounds good.
You're gonna go investigate the wall.
yeah.
All right. So Fizz, as you walk up to the wall, please roll an investigation.
I got a nat 20.
Oh, just a nat 20 on here. So Fizz, as you walk up to the wall, you do notice that the stonework is incredibly well placed, and it seems like there's almost a bit of magic or very, very, very fine craftsmanship to have placed the stones the way they are,
Yeah.
almost immovable. It seems like this wall was built for very much protection of what was on the other side, and not something you'd normally see on an interior wall. The walls around it are plaster and wood, as one would expect walking down a hallway, but they just kind of dead end up to this wall. You're not able to find any entry points per se.
Even along the ceiling or floor.
The ceiling you see up about 15 or 20 feet, and along the floor, it seems like this wall goes down past the floor that you're at. The wood is mostly butt up against it, but there's a few little cracks you can kind of see down a little bit down to the floor below. And as you're investigating, you do hear some voices below. It seems like someone is loudly talking about a lair of sorts. And you hear some voices back and forth, which you may believe to be your friends, but you haven't spent enough time with them to know if it's Eljor and Corey, or if it's just multiple voices. You do hear a little bit of the nuances of like Corey's voice potential.
And none of the boards seem loose or anything.
None of the boards seem loose, but this wall goes up, and it seems to do the same above you, where it continues up to the floor above, as if the castle was almost either built around this, or this core was built specifically in the middle of the castle at some point.
Did you
One
want to
of
do
us
an
has-
Arcana check? I can do
So
it.
were there gemstones around here?
You see a couple small gemstones on the tabletops below some of the workstations, but it's fairly clean. Feel free to roll your Arcana check there, Lily.
So I'm gonna get
16.
out the the looking glass,
Okay.
and I'm gonna get out the cape that Corey handed to us.
Okay.
And I'm gonna show it to the eye, and I'm just thinking about like I want to know like how to get to the other side of this wall.
Okay. So the 16 on the Arcana check, Lily, you're able to understand a little bit about the wall as you look closely at some of the fittings of the stonework. You understand that the way some of the fittings are made isn't that they have been fastened together by a glue or something, but held magically. You've seen this before on a couple other places that were not so much strongholds, but more like on the outer walls of more or less a small town banking institution that kept a bunch of the town's gold in some of your travels. And it was a small building, but very similar make, where it was very well protected from the outside. So it's similar to that.
Based on my check, would I know what kind of magic it is or what kind of spell?
You don't know specifically what it is, but you believe it to be more of a like transmogrification or binding, where it changes the properties of the stuff. It doesn't seem to be an illusory magic, so it's not like, aha, pretend. It's not really a wall, but it's definitely something that has changed the properties of magic below. And it's nothing of like ill intent. Like it's not going to consume you if you touch the wall or kill you if you do anything with it.
Okay.
So you don't have the specific class, but you probably have a couple different classes of magic that it could be a mix of. As you pull the looking glass or the eye out, Fizz, and like wave the jacket in front of it, in the back of your head you hear, I've seen many of these before, but the structure ahead, this is unique. What is it you wish to do?
I was thinking about like how I already said I was thinking about how I wanted to know how the wall works and to get on the other side.
As you're thinking about that, your vision kind of dims a little bit, and you hear, see what I see briefly. And as your vision comes back and kind of flickers into view, you do notice that there's a small like crack that runs down the wall and then splits right at the floor, as if like there's a door below. And you see the crack actually physically split in front of you. But visually up to Lily, this isn't seen.
Right.
So you get a brief moment to see this. You see a couple clouds, blurs of like an outline of two human or elven-sized people below, and one smaller creature kind of fluttering in the air below walk in through this doorway, and the doorway stays open. And you can kind of see this in somewhat like a predator vision of sorts, if you're to think about it that way, or like a slight outlines through the floor, like not normal. It kind of messes with you a bit because you haven't seen the world this way.
Yeah.
And as soon as you start taking that in, your vision flickers back to your own.
So, wait, the door is downstairs, but what does the crack in the wall have to do with that?
That is for you to understand. Maybe the door is the whole wall.
And that's all you get, and the eye seems to look off into a distant space. Lily, you do hear Fizz say something about the crack in the wall and the door, and she's kind of mumbling and muttering at this point, as she's having more of an almost internal discussion with the eye that she's speaking with.
Okay, do I see the eye?
Yeah, you see her holding the stone kind of in her arms, with the eye within it and staring at the wall.
I give her a minute to talk to the eye by herself, and then I assume at some point in time she starts to put the eye away, and that's when I'd like to approach and say, "Hey, did you ask the eye about the wall?
Yeah.
What did it say?"
Didn't really say anything. Well, whoever's downstairs, they went through like a door, and there was a crack in the wall. I don't know. That's all I know.
Do I hear the people downstairs?
You heard a faint tone of voices below, as if like a neighbor was speaking loudly in an apartment building. So just enough to hear that there's something happening below, but nothing to alert you of who or what was causing the sounds.
Ooh, I have an idea. I can put on the cape and go down there and see who it is.
But do you know how to get down there? To where they're at?
Didn't they just
if
go through that
you-
one door down the hall? We went off to like the side and they went straight.
They went into the throne room, which was kind of out to, if you're looking at the stairs before you walked up them, it's off to the right side. You essentially went up the stairs and back behind the wall, so you kind of went straight when you went up the stairs. So
But I would know where
So
they
wait.
went.
roughly.
You
Okay.
think our party is down there?
I mean, it's possible. It was like two
I mean, if it
big
is
people and a
them-
small person. But
If it
they
is
have-
them, we should just let them handle it. Maybe we keep searching and see if we can find that rope.
But if they don't know that they have to go through the door. Wondering if I go down there and I prompt them.
Do you think you could open the wall from the other side?
Maybe.
Or should I come with you?
Well, we only have the one cape.
So maybe I
You
wait
could
in the
climb
kitchen.
in my bag.
You're gonna let me climb into your bag?
Just don't touch anything, okay?
I will try not to.
Don't touch anything, okay?
Okay.
Is,
I'm gonna get in your bag.
could you explain what you've done to the inside of this like 10 by 10 foot space that is bright, not bright white, but just like an empty whiteness that you've made your little workshop?
Well, okay, so there's the plant in the middle of the room, right?
Yep.
And then there's the looking glass.
That you've placed back in on a shelf or something?
Yeah. That I like constantly. It's like easily accessible, right?
Okay.
And then there's of course that shelf that I fixed, but then I built like a big, like workbench.
Okay.
And so then there's like the maps laid out where I was like working on that with all those toolkits, and there's like my where I do the elixirs and stuff. Like there's like stations, and it like to most people it probably looks like a disaster in there, and a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense, but it makes sense. And there's like just a regular rope.
So in Biz's version of the Matrix, where she goes, "I need stuff, lots of stuff," Lily steps down into kind of
And
a
there's like
mess.
shelves with like thanks for your trash type shit.
Yeah, so it looks like Fizz just dumped her regular backpack in there and put stuff out and was working in piles. Let's just say a 6-year-old scientist is what you have encountered has exploded in that area. Not the scientist itself, but their work. And
Got it.
you are within. As Fizz moves the bag a little bit, the room just kind of moves under you a little, like if you're on a cruise ship or a large boat, but not like you're on a little boat getting rocked in the ocean. Just enough to know that there's something happening outside of the bag.
Got it.
Fizz, I assume, as she's all the way in, you're just gonna go hustling down.
Yeah, but like you said, it only covers 2/3 of me, so I'm gonna be like squatted down,
And like holding your bag or something.
holding my bag, squatted down with the cape over me. So I'm like waddling kind of, but like hurriedly.
Gonna get a workout.
Oh man, with her little cobalt legs just like plop 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 running through.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you hustle down and you get into the throne room, you see that there's a hallway back behind the throne. There's a couple servants cleaning up a mess around the throne as if there was a small party held right at the throne. They pay no mind to the rippling and waving of space that's you kind of hustling up towards them.
Right.
So they're moving in and out of the space, and you're able to move through without being noticed. You see a large amount of food on the table just past. Smells incredible, and you get so many different smells. Within the bag, even, there's a faint aroma of like cooked meats that enter in the top. So Lily, you're even smelling what was made for lunch out here. And Fizz, you make it into the next room. Does the food entice you at all, or are you on a mission?
No, I just ate Stackos.
Oh, you just ate Stackos. So you're excited and happy to get past all of the food there. And as you kind of make your way into the hall, I need you to roll me one history check to know if you rush to it or if you're gonna get a little bit lost here.
It's an 11.
11. Fortunately, the castle has wide hallways, so there's very few directions you could get lost down. You have a choice of heading to your right down a hallway, which seems like the direction, or left, which you are very, very sure isn't the correct direction.
Do I notice any traces of pollen?
You don't seem to notice many traces of pollen, as most of Corey's pollen seems to linger briefly and then just kind of dissipate.
Convenient.
It's not like a sparkly trail that gets left behind for too long.
I feel the need to point out that I'm not a bee.
Yeah.
No, but I know your thing has like the...
Yeah, my fairy dust stuff. Yeah.
Your
I
fairy
just wanted
dust
to make sure
polleny
it's
stuff.
known that I'm not a bee. I'm not like diving into flowers to enjoy nectar.
100% bee.
I mean, you are a druid, so it's kind of the same thing.
I mean, yes, I enjoy nectar, but
So Corey's true form is actually a bee, and they turn themselves into a more
No, but
fairy.
He's a butterfly. He sits on flowers and shit. Like...
So as you round the corner and you believe you're going in the right direction, and I guess there's a doggo going nutso on the other end of the stream.
okay.
That's fine. Doggos are here. As you round the corner, you do notice that the wall is kind of opened. You see some movement within.
I'm doing a good job.
Yeah, I'll give a second here. We're gonna go into our last little bit of a teaser here in a moment as to what is happening next week. It'll be involving all of our characters in just a second. But as we're doing that, in 2 weeks we will be doing our Halloween spooky show. So do join us for our spooky episode, which will have all of these characters in it. The plot line will be a little bit kind of poked at in just a second. But do stick around for just another moment. We're going to raid another channel as soon as we wrap this little bit up. So I'm alerting Jared to find a raid location. I want to thank Raining Cold Fire for the raid, and those of you who have stuck around from that raid, thank you. Thank you for the likes and the follows and all of the watch. We can't wait to see you all again. Do follow us on our Instagram because we do have a lot of stuff going on, like giveaways. Keep an eye on that. We will be doing a giveaway very soon of a advent calendar of dice and stuff from Critical Treasures. So with that, I am going to briefly tease what happened next. Now, as we have little Fizz running down the hall, holding the bag, and Lily inside, kind of swaying back and forth. Fizz found the space that the king and it seems Corey and Eljor have gone. And where they've gone is what the king has called the lair. And within the lair, there is a space that has all sorts of items hanging around the walls. And in the middle of the room, there's a few cases. One of them is a large metal chest. And the king is looking around and kind of nudging at Corey and Eljor, kind of in the air a little bit. He goes, "This one over here, this one, I've been trying to get into for some time. But I think I just need one little push. Corey, I believe I need a little bit of magic. Do you mind just touching the top of this metal case for me? It's definitely in need of a magical touch." And as you look at it, there's veins of like almost empty magic running across it, as if someone had sealed it with magic and it left not burns and tears, but just like markings that magic had once held this thing tight.
Can I insight him?
You want to insight the king?
Yeah.
Yeah. Roll an insight.
I just
check.
want to. I feel like I'm being led to a thing here. I don't know. Got an 8.
An 8. As far as you can understand, with the king in his mildly inebriated state again, this young man just wants to kind of bust into the cool things that are hidden away. And he's heard some tales about this chest, but the chest does match a description of what potentially contained the rope that you were looking for.
Yeah, I mean, I'd touch the top of it with my staff first.
Yeah,
and then druid craft on it to make it bloom while it's touching the thing.
Yeah, as you do that, the chest reacts and the lines of magic kind of ripple with a slight greenish tone. And the king quickly pulls down on the pry bar that he had jammed in there. And instead of like trying to pry open the top just pops open and swings wide. And as you look into this large chest, there's a perfectly like spooled bit of rope sitting in there. It seems to be a blanket rolled and tied, and then a couple small trinkets that look like potentially a bag, but nothing of sorts, nothing more than like a burlap bag carrying a small metal item. As the king is digging in, you hear it kind of go thunk. He pushes stuff around, and you hear him huff and puff. "Well, I thought there was going to be more here. I heard legend that there was another realm in here." And he throws the rope out, and the rope like uncoils briefly and then drops perfectly in the same exact coil that it was back at the door right in front of Fizz. And it lands in a perfect circular coil. And then the king throws the rolled blanket, and as the blanket hits the floor, it drops down and pops up into a small pup tent, but it's a very dark fabric with tears within it. A foul stench kind of ekes out of this little pup tent. The king doesn't notice it, but it drops, and it's facing kind of away from everyone, so it's facing perpendicular to the direction if Corey and Eljor turned around, and if Fizz were to look at it, she's just looking at the side. And from within, a little is heard, and a stuffed arm comes out, fabric all shredded and fluff kind of like hanging out of the arm, and a couple more arms come out, and like small zombie stuffed toys essentially start stomping out When I say stomping out, they're making very little noise because they're stuffed toys, and the grumbles are very faint. Ooh, enough that Corey and Eljor don't seem to hear it, as the king's puffing and puffing, trying to find this other realm in the box.
Pick it up and like drop it in the top of the bag.
Lily, a rope drops perfectly coiled into the middle of the room. So perfectly coiled that it looks like someone had set it nicely and like carefully wound it out and set it on the floor in front of you. Not that it had just dropped from the ceiling from a little spinning drop. So it seems that you've found, or that Fizz has found this rope. The bag is open just a little bit as Fizz is jamming stuff in. And you hear someone muttering in the background about finding another dimension. And we're going to stop right here, as there's a rope in your possession, another dimension that might have opened, and you're in the armory, or the lair. So we will see you in 2 weeks for our spooky episode. Jared, do we have a place to raid?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Who are we raiding tonight?
If it works, we're going to go to Mimics and Gimmicks.
Ooh, that is a
Ooh.
wonderful name. So when we head to Mimics and Gimmicks, we're just going to go there immediately. Watch our Instagram for giveaways. See you in 2 weeks. You get back-to-back episodes in 2 weeks and in 3 weeks, because we get the end of the 5th week month and the start of the next. Catch us on Instagram and in 2 weeks. See everybody. Go enjoy the raid. And with that, bye-bye.
Push the button.